is a lot going on. I mean, a lot. And you have a way of cutting through the noise and cutting through all of the distractions and helping us focus on what's really important today and where you see things going. So, whatever you'd like to talk about, I'm grateful.
Yeah. So the latest, stuff with the Iran crisis seems like everything's settling down. I think there's still some problems there. I just listened to a former CIA analyst that I've followed for quite some time. He knows several people that I know as well. But he said that Iran actually, and I said this as well. I thought this that Iran already has a nuke, and so that's one of the reasons why we've backed off. I believe. So where does that go from here? Do they actually set off a nuke underground as Pakistanis? I guess he's got some contacts with Pakistanis. I spent a lot of time in Pakistan. So the Pakistanis are saying that Iran plans to do an underground explosion instead of having a above ground,
Yeah.
mushroom cloud. They're going to do one underground, and the seismicity from that will be obvious that they have nukes now. So when we went in and we started striking Iran, we stopped about 2 weeks early as far as like how many targets the military had to take out.
Yeah.
We stopped 2 weeks early. There was talk that there was going to be a regime change. Took out a lot of the top people in the former regime, I guess we could call it. But they have ways, as I've seen, over my 35 years of fighting terrorists and so forth, because this is a terrorist. This is literally a terrorist government. So,
Yeah.
they've pushed that around the world, especially in the Middle East. So I had to go against them in quite a few areas in the Middle East because they fund a lot of the terrorism that happens there. Now I think that they are funded on a larger scale by Europeans. So we know that Europe and a lot of our allies, are not on board with us for going after Iran. Why was that? Because they were going and are going to, I believe, use Iran to control the world through nukes. So it's it's going to be challenging going forward. So I think that we're going to see multiple challenges over the next several weeks, months, uh, heading up into the election. So another thing that we need to watch is the Save America Act, which I don't think is going to be passed because the rhinos and the Democrats, if the Save America Act gets passed, then they're gone. We'll vote them out. So they can't have that go. So they're going to fight that all the way through, and they're going to make President Trump, look bad all the way up until the election. So probably some executive orders are going to be passed by President Trump. So that's that, and then we're going to probably start to see arrests. Now, the reason why we haven't seen arrest at this point,
Yeah.
because there's there's a counter to everything that we do against them. So we're at war with them. They have capabilities. Obviously, they've been using them against us for quite some time. We saw it again more recently with the election fraud that's happening in California. So we're seeing them replace all of our mayors in most of our major cities with communists. So that's part of their agenda. So they're going to do this. They really have a communist mayor in LA, but they're going to go, I think, even further. Just like we saw with New York and Seattle, there's two communist mayors in those major cities. Those cities, as we know, will probably and are as we speak falling apart. But that is what they want to do. They want to destroy America and they rebuild it in their image of what they want, and that's complete, domination and control of our society on a massive scale. As if we're not, controlled it, currently. They want to take it to another level again, and then again, and again, and again. So that's what we're up against. Now, a lot of people think that, because you're at war, that means there's kinetic activity, because that's what we see with war. But that's not what we're seeing here in the United States and in Europe and other places. We're seeing governments getting taken over, because normally when you do a kinetic war, your goal is to take over the government of that country. They have learned to take over our governments without kinetic activity. So so I outlined some of it, of course, with Joe Biden having been in office. That was a major movement where they allowed our replacements on a massive scale to come in. So illegal immigration, flooded into our country. With that coming in, one of the goals of a communist takeover is to make everybody dependent on the system. So they couldn't make us, United States citizens, dependent on the government fast enough. They were doing a pretty good job of it, of course, with a lot of programs that are out there. But they needed to speed the process up. So they brought in legal immigration on a massive scale. 20, 30 million people came into our country over a 4-year period. That process was already going on under Obama, and they wanted to continue it under Clinton, but it got stopped, fortunately, by President Donald Trump. And now he stopped it again. So they're in a desperation mode to basically, accelerate this process. So part of that process will be to cause conflict, like we're seeing that seems to be heating up rather than being, we see a peace agreement. It's not really a peace agreement. It's basically a stalling until we get, I guess, better positioning, or maybe they're pushing beyond the election, so that we make sure that we have the right people in position, because they cannot do what they're doing to us if we have good people in positions of leadership, in office, in political positions. So they've known that for a long time. Obviously, that's their intention, to put people in there that will allow, like unfortunately you went through, child trafficking and so forth, which is on a massive scale. Now, going even deeper again, we're seeing a lot of activity coming off the sun. Now, normally, when plasma and electrical energy comes off the sun, that would raise our consciousness, which for many of us it is doing that. But in some certain areas, because the consciousness has been compromised, and MK Ultra is at a high level, then when these energies come in, it causes a negative effect, like earthquakes, volcanoes, and tsunamis. So I think that we're going to see an uptick in those, because we're not seeing the consciousness of certain areas raise enough to counter those massive energies that are coming in. And instead of everybody lifting in consciousness, those that are in places like California that are allowing these people to come into power, and allowing children to be trafficked and barbarized, really, on a scale that's quite unimaginable. We can talk about it, but we can't imagine it if we've never seen it or gone through it. On a certain level can give us information about that, and that's what you've been doing.
Yeah.
But as you know, there's far greater things are happening. So in California, it's happening on a massive scale, because you have the political elite there that run those programs, benefit from those programs. They're horrific, and the people that are there are not rising up. They're allowing it to go through and to happen, instead of like taking to the streets and saying, we're not leaving the streets until you guys are gone, like we've seen in a lot of countries over time. Californians are allowing it. So that's when you allow negative energies in a certain area, then you allow negative repercussions. And that's what I believe is going to happen with California. We just had a 5.6 quake in Northern California. That was the largest one, second largest one in recorded history. So we're seeing an increase in earthquake activity along the coast and off the coast, where tsunamis could unfortunately eventuate from. So that's probably what we're going to see in California. That's going to be tragic, but these are things we're going to start to see over the next several months because of this increase in energies. The energies are going to increase, and if we're not on a level as a people across the board that we can absorb these energies and go higher with them, then they turn out to be a negative, and that's what we're going to see. So, increase in earthquake activity and so forth. Probably see a fake alien invasion. That's very strong possibility, because I think that we have good ET brothers and sisters out there trying to help us, and the negative ones are trying to impose their will on us like they have for a very long time, and keep us dumbed down and controlled and so forth. So we've seen, like the Great Flood that we read about in the Bible. I believe that was a point where consciousness had a chance to upgrade, and unfortunately, it wasn't at that level. So the Earth got destroyed. So we're coming into that again. Now, I think it's going to be isolated with the Earth destructions, because there's enough of us now that are high vibration, high consciousness. We'll move into areas where we'll survive, and there will be a greater number of us than any time in the past. But that is some of the things I see. Quite a lot on the plate, I know. not there is positive.
Please, Michael.
We are moving into a golden age. There's no question about that.
Yeah, that is a lot. I have to say, I'm over here on
a lot more, but that's enough.
So you have even more. Yeah, I'm sitting here taking notes while I'm thinking of all my follow-up questions. But your information keeps coming and coming and coming. That is a lot. No wonder people can feel so overwhelmed right now, because there's so much coming at us. So you said there's even more. I mean, I can't stop you now. So what else?
So the other things are, if we do not have a good election, which at this point we will not have a good election. The Democrats and the rhinos will win in the midterm, and they'll put a lot of pressure, just like they did in his first term when he lost in the midterm. He lost in the midterm because they went up against him, because he's like I don't know. We have to look back in history. Who is he similar to? You could look at Moses. So leading the the Jewish people, and it wasn't a lot of people just think it was the Jews. It was also a lot of the Egyptians that saw the problems with their society. So they left with Moses as well. So that's kind of what Trump is doing. He's leading us away from this corrupt group. Will we have like I think what they went through, biblical type of things that happen? I think Egypt, that was where Egypt basically collapsed on a massive scale, because there were massive earthquakes and geological events that happen. You can see that they happen around the world. There's evidence of that in a lot of texts, not just from the Bible, but also from around the world. There's people that talk about floods and all kind of crazy stuff. So this was a period that humanity went through as consciousness had the opportunity to rise, but a lot of people want to not do anything. Just let the old system continue to control and manipulate, and then some people broke free. So that's where we're at right now. So I don't think that we're going to have a good election at this point, unfortunately, because I don't think there's enough that's been done. Even if President Trump does an executive order, there's going to be a lot of states, like we saw and we see right now in California, although we pointed out there, have done election fraud, nothing is happening, right? So,
That's right.
and who knows? Maybe it will. Maybe the 2020 election steal gets revealed. Maybe some people get arrested. But again, if you start the arrest process, then there will be a massive repercussion for that. And we know that these they have directed energy weapons, HARP, and so forth. They can cause earthquakes. They can know where earthquakes are happening and kick them off even more. We're seeing the biggest typhoons in history right now that are swinging around in the Pacific right now, and the weight of those storms can cause earthquakes. And one of those storms, one of the typhoons that's right now moving towards Japan, is going to move over a fault area. So we could see a lot of so there's more. There's a lot more.
I'm holding on. I've
Yeah.
got my seatbelt on right now, Michael.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what we do. We just fasten our seatbelts.
Yep.
There's lots of turbulence, so
Yep.
and it's going to get a lot of shaky. But in the end, we land, and we're all good. But how long will the shaking, literally and figuratively, go on? I think it's going to go on for several more years.
Whenever you talked about arrests, I want to, because I could have a million questions. When you talk about the arrest, you think that there, and I know you've talked on some of your shows about this recently too, you think there will be some arrests? And if so, will that help in any of these other areas or?
Well, Fauci looks like he's about to go. Looks like they're going to sacrifice Fauci to us, to the good side. And will that be enough? No, of course it won't be enough. That'll be the beginning. But they want us to okay, we're going to give you something. That's it. We're going to give you Fauci. And so that should be like a tsunami back at them of this fraud that was pushed upon the world. We've know that there's in the Wuhan laboratories, gain of function, and then that gain of function escaped. Right? It's from a bat in a market. So that lie was disclosed. I disclosed these lies very early on. I saw right through it. And so will we have more of that? I think we're not done with bioweapons. So more bioweapons are coming. Ebola is really flaring, and they're building the narrative for that. Some people have left. I don't know how they were able to leave, but there's 2 people in Israel. And this is one of those Ebola. Usually Ebola is you have to have direct contact. Wow, this one you don't have to. So this latest one that just evolved, you don't have to have direct contact. So we've seen that. We've seen some other ones that they have out there floating around. So I don't see how it's going to be stopped. I mean, Fauci, yeah, you take out Fauci, but he's just a figurehead in a much larger program, which is transforming humanity. A lot of people are having issues from that, and we're having issues, and we talked about this as well, from the shedding from people that had that vaccination. So those of us that were healthy and so forth, we're getting that on us. So it's a constant fight for cleansing your body. We promote the LifeWave, and that's helped a lot of people. But there's a lot of people that don't even know about LifeWave, have no idea. So there's lots of things that we can talk about as far as what that can help with, and maybe we'll get to that in a little bit. But again, the massive assault on humanity has not stopped. You haven't seen these people go to jail. So the 2030 project that they have, it was 2021. And thanks to Trump, that got stopped out. But so they pushed it to 2030. So we're on the Titanic, and it's leaking. right? We already like hit the iceberg, and we're slowly stalling, and we're moving towards 2030, where their plans are that they have complete control over us, just like they had planned for 2021, but it didn't quite pan out because we've seen Europe, we're seeing China, and we're seeing Hong Kong and a lot of areas, Japan, for most part. So their economies are still, suppressed and still undergoing, problems and so forth. Although the stock market, everybody looks at the stock market and they're like, well, the stock market's going up, so I guess everything's good. It's like all the money is going to the stock market. It's flowing out from everything else. So money seeks, it wants to go. It wants to be in something that goes up. So the stock market is the last thing. Now, last few days, stock market has hit all-time highs again.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but like the S&P 500 hasn't hit all-time high, so it didn't. And that's the one you really watch. So when that didn't hit an all-time high, like the Nasdaq and the Dow did, and some of the other stock markets, I think the Russell and maybe some other ones, but they uh, they hit all time highs again. But the S&P 500 did not confirm, so that was a big red flag. So we're starting to see a little bit pullback. We're seeing the cabals that control the money. They're really leaning hard on silver because a lot of us have gotten silver.
Right. Right.
So they're leaning hard in that. So a lot of people are panicking. There's a panic in the market right now, in some of the precious metals. It's not time to panic ever in precious metals, especially during this time frame, where you're seeing housing prices are collapsing all across the United States and the world. So that money's leaving, and it's going into the last place where we're going to see money create money, or fiat money create, because they're like there's so much debt out there. It's more
Yes.
debt now there's ever been in any time in history. And when you have debt markets, basically they're funding this stock market bubble, this AI bubble, and so forth. At some point, just like we've seen in the past, 1929, uh, 2000, the dot-com bust, and of course 2008, 2009, the Great Recession. Right, it should have been a Great
Right.
Depression,
Yeah.
but they stopped it because they pumped a lot of money into and plugged that hole in the Titanic, so it could last a little bit longer, and they can make a little bit more money off of us to control this a little bit more, to the point where they can finally go, okay, we're all off, we're all in our lifeboats. The ones that we want to go down with the ship, they're on it, so let's pull the plug. Right, so that's kind of where we're headed at 2030. They want to completely control us financially and otherwise. It's like they've already made the statement, "You'll own nothing and like it," and we're like, how arrogant is that? Yeah, it's arrogant to the point where they know that's where it's going. We have to really fight hard. Of course, President Trump, like Moses, they tried to fight Moses, and he's out there fighting for us. But there's a lot of people. It seems like a lot of people are turning on him. Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. They used to be like the MAGA favorites.
Yeah.
And now Tucker Carlson's like, I'll never vote Republican again. It's like, oh, so I've been saying this for a long time that he's
Yeah.
a turncoat, and here we go. So it's do I like being seeing things in the future and talking about it and get hammered by people? I don't like that, but it's kind of like you and I both we're here. God has a mission for us, and we're trying to fulfill it the best we can, and that's part of the rundown. So let's stop there. So that's enough for people to absorb. I hope everybody took notes and are kind of have an idea of things that are, unfortunately, because we have, so as a remote viewer, I look at I can see lots of different things that are coming, and those are all very prominent on a timeline. But again, just like Moses, changed history. Will President Trump be able to change history if enough of us get on board? Yes. Will we have to, will the Red Sea have to part for us to survive? I don't think so. I don't think we're at that level. I think that we're at a level where we're far above that, and we're going to raise conscious, and we have raised consciousness, and we're going to continue to raise consciousness for the most of us. That we're going to make a massive, difference. So this a massive worldwide event of like a flood or something like that is not going to happen this time because enough of us have woken.
That was my next thought that I wanted to take us to, because it is a lot of information, and I know people now, so many more people are awake, and they like action steps and action plans, and you're definitely a man of action, and that's how your mind thinks too. Mm-hmm. So what recommendations and thoughts do you have for us to prepare for what's coming, both mentally, spiritually, physically? What do you see?
Yeah, that's good. Great question. So mentally, you have to be able to observe. You can't get hooked, because so many people will observe something that's very chaotic or challenging or fearful or whatever, and they'll get stuck in that. So you have to be able to see those things and observe them dispassionately, which is very, very tough for a lot of people, as we know. I would say 70% of humanity is pretty much we'll go with if there's a lot of people in fear and running for their lives, they're going to just run. I don't know where we're going, but everybody's running. I'm out too. So, exactly. Whereas all they had to do is go to the side, just walk a few steps to the side, and everything's fine. And then the tsunami that's going to take everybody out takes everybody out, and you're watching it go by. So that's kind of the way you have to be. You have to learn as something very traumatic or emotional comes at you. You have to learn to stay soft, stay loving, and just let it go through you. If it starts to connect with you, just let it go, because you might not. I've seen this over time. I've talked about how people don't survive in certain situations because they get hooked on anger or fear or whatever. We're seeing more and more of that is going to start to happen for the rest of humanity. Like the bioweapon attack, it was an attack. It's warfare, and a lot of people didn't do well with that.
No, they didn't. That was exactly what I was thinking when you said observe and respond. They did things that they never would have done otherwise, and a lot of people lost that battle, and we can't afford that again as humanity to go down that path, because we've lost too many people.
Well, you say we can't afford to do that, but it will happen, and it's already happening. We can't save everyone, and it's just like the Titanic. They couldn't save everyone. They just saved chosen people, really, and we don't want to have chosen people saved. We want to have our chosen people saved. Right? So our chosen people go forward, and we'll take as many people, because we have a lot of life rafts, right? And in fact, the Titanic, they sent people off, and they could have put a lot more people on those lifeboats. It's because they need to make a statement, make it, oh my God, and we didn't know the full story about the Titanic, how it went down and why it went down for decades and decades and decades later. Right. So, and then they decide, okay, let's tell them now. It's like everybody's dead that can make a difference. So let's just tell them what happened. So that's the way things normally work, but we have to learn to work together, like you and I, yes, trying to form people. And we know that a lot of people resist. You don't have to get you're fear mongering. No, I'm just informing, period. Fear is something that you decide whether you're going to slip into or not. I'm just giving you information to observe, and make hopefully good to have a choice. So if you're again, if you're allowing a government to exist in your area, they're going to do very bad things. And California is completely controlled, almost totally, with bad people. As an example, New York is very close. Illinois is very close to complete. Michigan, on it, Washington State, Oregon State. So people have just allowed it to happen. And when you allow evil people to have power over you, what do you think is going to happen? Right? So it's very, very easy to see that there's going to be more of this going forward. And what is it going to be? Is it going to be more direct-to-injury weapon attacks? Yes, because we haven't taken care of that. Is it going to be more bioweapon attacks? Yes, because we haven't taken care of that. Is it going to be a fake alien invasion? Like I said, possibly. I don't know. But it sounds like it's lining up for that.
Yeah, it
Uh,
does.
yeah. And so here we are. We're telling you these things are coming, and how you react to them is up to you. You can be dispassionate and observe, and work your way through that and work around that tsunami that's coming for whatever's. Because I don't think it's just one tsunami. I think it's going to be earthquake after earthquake after earthquake, literally, in some cases, and then tsunami after volcanic explosion. It's like on and on and on. So we're in that time. We're in that period of history of the Earth where these things happen, and it's mainly because of our consciousness. We raise our consciousness, or we get destroyed, and or both. And I think this time is going to be both.
So, what are your recommendations on raising our consciousness? Because that's clearly a key. And I'm not sure people even fully understand what that means and what that entails and how they can make a difference. Because otherwise, I can sense now in the spirit, people try not to be afraid, but still taking action is a really good way of keeping that at bay if they have. So, how can everyone participate in that?
Uh, like what we're talking about right here. We'll see how many views this gets. We'll see how much this gets shared, because this is a monumental share. This is from spirit. Uh,
Yes.
I when I speak, uh, like when you and I speak, I'm letting it come through.
Yes, me too.
And this is not Michael Jaco, fear mongering. This is spirit communicating to you. So a lot of people will notice that, and they're like, they have things built within them, consciousness wise, MK Ultra and so forth, that will turn them off and make them angry, and they'll click it off and go away, and they won't share it, because it's like they don't want to be involved in it at all, because something gets triggered in them. Well, how can anything get triggered in you? Like when I did hand to hand training, and when I taught hand to hand, if you got injured during hand to hand fighting, or combat or whatever, you can't go, oh wow, and go, you're in fighting for your life. We're all fighting for our lives,
Yeah.
all of us. And if you get a little hurt, emotionally, because of something that you're not aware that's been programmed into you, that turns you off and makes you angry and fearful, because of something that's being shared with you. Uh,
True.
I came out and I told everybody, we're going to be masking. And I had a mask on. I went into a grocery store. We're going to be masking, and I got so much hate from that. And then a few weeks later, everybody was masking. So uh, you can go into a negativity, but it's again, it's on you. Spirit and so forth is trying to inform you, uh, and like I said, I'm just a messenger. I just allow this stuff to come through me, and I get a lot of heat for it. But I'm like, well, uh, God takes care of me, and He wants to take care of other people. Allow this information to come through, and don't get stuck on anything. So if you feel something is you know, bothering you about, what I'm talking about, calm down, right? And pay attention to what that is, what's going on in you, because nothing that I'm talking about, nothing that I'm saying should bother anybody. It's like, oh, if you want, you can go, oh yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Maybe a little bit of that, and then you do a little research and like, oh my god, and then something happens that I've been putting out, and you're like, oh, what? I got to go back and watch that program. So whatever they were talking about it's all happening now, and so I was talking about a lot of this stuff, and I didn't get a lot of views at first, and then I got a lot of views when everybody was seeing that everything he's been saying. He said 2 weeks ago that in 2 weeks, because I could look into the future and see, so I saw that list, and I knew that list was going to like make people scared and fearful, and I was like, don't go there. Don't let it make you fearful. So again, you have to work together with other people, like what we're doing here. We're
Yes.
trying to, and this is not easy. We got a lot of times negative feedback, but then also we get a lot of people that are very very appreciative, and
Yes.
we thank you and we appreciate that your love and your support, because that makes a difference. That's God speaking through you sometimes, I believe, to let us know that it's making an impact, right? So
Agreed.
if you feel inspired to make a comment, a positive comment, even a negative comment. You can make a negative comment, or you could say, "Oh, I don't believe this. You don't know about this, 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 this." And I'll be like, "Oh, no, that's those are good points." Or, "Well, here, look at this, look at this, look at this." And but I'll have people, because again, it's an MK Ultra thing where you get triggered and you attack. And I'm not attacking anybody. I'm just pointing stuff out. Why would you want to attack me? I see this all the time, where people attack me, and call me bad names and so forth, and I'm just like, boop, dip, gone. But people come in occasionally. I don't see it that much anymore. It's like this can be a discussion, guys. If you don't understand, let's discuss it. Let's have a conversation here, like you and I are having, Lynn.
Exactly.
Imagine that Lynn and I are having a conversation with you. We're sitting down with you, right? So if something you don't agree with something, or you see a problem, occasionally, very rare now. In the beginning, I would get those, and I would be like, "Oh, good, I get to inform somebody else, and other people get to look at this and get informed." Very, very rare that happens now. Everyone is so polarized now. You're either for it or you're against it. It's like, wow, how did we ever get to that point? But that is part of the consciousness shift that we're going through. So you can get stuck. Like, I don't think a lot of people at this point will be watching this that are stuck. Those people that are still here that are watching are probably very, very well informed, or want to be informed, which is another great thing about doing these shows, because we're helping other people wake up. I probably woke up millions of people.
Yes, you
I
did.
had so many people, because there's only a certain percentage of people that will respond and say positive things. It's most of what you get is a negative, right? So when I see positive, I'm like, okay, multiply that by 10, right? So that many people out there are getting something positive from this. So I would get, people would have come up to me, or at least not necessarily come up to me. A lot of people have come up to me, and then some people make comments. It's like, you woke me up. You were the reason why I woke up, and I understand all the stuff that I do now about the system and how it's arrayed against us. So and so we're fighting against the system, not all of it. President Trump, sometimes it may seem that he's against us, but you know he can he can go full on against the deep state. And how long do you think he's going to last? How long do you think that people will continue to support him that are in his administration? Because some of those people that, as we've seen over time, they get jettisoned because
Yeah.
it's found out that they were infiltrators, kind of like a Tucker Carlson or
Mhm.
Candace Owens and so forth. They're being jettisoned, but how much? There's still probably millions of people that follow Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, but they're as bad as they can be. Uh, they're they're part of the deep state trying to destroy the world, right? So,
Exactly.
my opinion, and some people, I guess, obviously still have their own opinions. That's why they continue to follow them. So, how long will that last? That people continue to follow them? I don't know. Maybe the numbers that we're seeing are manufactured. Maybe they don't have millions of followers. Maybe they only have a million. I don't know, or less. Who knows? But the likes that they get, are they real likes, or are they AI inspired likes? So
Excellent point.
yeah. So there's a lot of that's going on, and like sharing this video would be great, but AI is going to suppress this video big time,
Yes.
massively. So if you're like choosing to watch videos dependent upon the numbers of views that it has, this would probably the one that you're not going to watch. So I don't know. We'll see. I hope it gets lots of views, because that will be um, a great sign that there are a lot of awakened people, and or people that are interested in waking up, and or people that even if they're not awake and maybe get a little angry, they stay a little while, and they're like, something is telling them to stay, and they don't know what that is, but they continue to watch it even though they're angry and fearful and everything else. But maybe something is driving them forward, and that's a good sign too.
Well, which I think we agree that something is the Lord. So before our shows, every month when we do our shows, I always pray about the content, because I know that we're speaking to a lot of people, and we need to be helping. I mean, we're here to help humanity. That's why we're on this earth at this point in time. And when you said that Spirit was speaking through you before the show, I had Lynn's agenda of the things I wanted to talk about. And I just heard loud and clear, no, let Michael talk about current events. And I'm like, well, but I have this list. And he's like, no, let Michael talk about current events, and just like let him go. And I had instructions like don't interrupt much, just let him talk, let it flow. And not knowing on your end that that's exactly what was going to start happening. So, I have goosebumps now head to toe from this. And this is, I think, the perfect example of how people can remain out of fear
Yeah.
and focus, because God's here to help us, is because we were listening and being obedient to what we heard to do and not do. Like, for example, you were outside a lot, which was a perfect place to be, even though you didn't listen to the government say stay indoors. You went outside because you knew that that was the best thing. And I there's a scripture in Hosea that says, and that's what you're doing, is you're bringing knowledge so that we can be. That's the first step. We have to know what's coming, so that way then we can pray about, okay, what do I do? What do I not do? Where do I go? Where do I not go? And that's how we survive and can thrive during these situations.
Yeah, definitely. So I just pulled it up over on my YouTube. So the numbers of watching are low. So probably not going to be a big one. But this is of all the shows that I would like recommend, because they have a lot of really amazing guests on and so forth. This would be the one where I would be like, you need to watch this one, right?
Yes.
So because the numbers are low, who knows? Maybe they'll pick up. Maybe it, like we talked about, is being suppressed right now. So I don't know, but it is disheartening to see when I normally do a show. There's like upwards of 1,000, sometimes a couple thousand people watching. There's like 472 watching right now. So there is issues, I think, with humanity, and not everybody. So there's 473 watching right now that are like totally tapped in, and
Exactly.
maybe there's going to be more in the future. Well, there definitely will be more. Maybe not on YouTube, but I'll share this over on Rumble, and Rumble seems to be still allowing this type of information to get out there. Although the numbers on Rumble, it's not a worldwide platform like YouTube is. Rumble is heavily suppressed in I think France, and other European nations and so forth. So um, you can you can bring the horse to water, but you can't make it drink type thing. So I think this is once again when the when it hits the fan, right? Then people are going to be like, okay, who's the people that inform us when everything hits the fan? So they'll, I don't know, maybe they'll come then. I would say it doesn't have to hit the fan because I know the way these people think. They're very creative at ways to destroy us because they know the way we think. So they've had thousands of years to figure it out. So they're going to come in with some other type of event. Maybe it's the uh, you know fake alien invasion. That's something no one's ever physically seen. And when you physically see these crazy aircraft potentially coming in, and you see ray guns like burning through cities, and you can see it, and then the bioweapon comes, and you're like, they spread it that the aliens dropped a bioweapon on everybody. So you could potentially have, like I believe is going to happen. You can have but multiple events that are coming, and if you're not uh, tapped in and taking the type of advice we're trying to give people right now, it's probably going to have a major impact on a lot of people. So.
When you were talking about Moses and people leaving Egypt, the rabbis have done historical studies on that. And many of the rabbis say that only 20% of the Jews left Egypt because the rest loved their captivity. They loved their captors. They loved being slaves. They loved being fed. They knew that they were, beaten and had to work too hard, but they were willing to stay in the system, and that actually only 20% left. And that shocks people every time I share that. But that's the historical records that the rabbis talk about. It's very well known to them. And I find that fascinating and wonder about where we are too.
Yeah, and you could look at that time period. Akhenaten and Nefertiti, they started a brand new city, and they broke away from the control system, the multiple gods, and so forth, and they did the one God. And uh, there's biblical phrases that are in the Bible that come from that time frame, and it's very very interesting. Now, it was the the clergy at that time basically regained power, and they came in and completely destroyed that city, and almost completely erased it from everything, destroyed everything, and it was a massive city. Uh, they were they were very wealthy. They took all the wealth that had been going to the church, the corrupt institutions and so forth, and they built this beautiful city. It was supposed to be for the people. Now, a lot of the Jews that broke away went to that city, and when that city was destroyed and they were taken back into captivity, that's when Moses came in, because Moses had been out in the wilderness for a long time,
Yeah.
and he was told to go back
Yeah.
and rescue the people.
Yeah.
And like you said, that's a very good point. Again, there was only a certain percentage of people that decided to leave because they love their captors, just like a lot of people throughout Europe and here in America. They love their captors, and they're not going to, they're not going to rise up in California. They love their captors, evidently.
Made me think
And same thing in New York City, and Seattle, and Portland, and you name the city that's been captured. There's quite a few. We can look back in time and look at captured cities like Detroit, which is completely destroyed. So it'll be that way, unfortunately, I believe, for a lot of these cities. We've talked about this in the past, where there'll be 12 to 14 cities that will be destroyed, and so that's, I think LA is obviously one of those. San Francisco's probably up there. Chicago, New York City, Seattle, Portland, all the cities that are really, captured operations right now. How are they not going to be destroyed? Because they've been completely captured. They're not going to give those cities up. They're going to fight to the end.
You've been telling people to leave those cities for quite a while now.
Yeah. Well, it's becoming more and more obvious now, but still, you have people that are benefiting from that. And they don't realize yet that uh, they should have left with Moses, right? All those people, because
Exactly.
Egypt was destroyed. It was absolutely destroyed. They were able to come back to a certain extent, but nothing like it had been before. And it started with them, trying to take down a new system that was trying to be formulated, and I think that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing a new system that's trying to be formulated uh, of consciousness, not like a place. It's the place is within all of us. So when we, awaken, then that power within us is able to create and resist destruction and so forth, like we've been seeing throughout time. So that's where we're at. Uh, some people will, just not come with us. And it's not like, well, that's their karma. No, it's just um, like you talk about, not throughout time. Now, will we see 30% of people, survive this time? I think it's going to be a higher percentage actually to survive. More than 50% of humanity will survive, I think, going forward. But there will be a lot of destruction. It, and you just look throughout history to these events that are like we're coming up on, and all the people that are have great psychic abilities and can look forward into time. They're all coming forward and they're saying that we're moving into this massive change. Now, I'm one of the few that are telling everybody it's going to get ugly. So people don't want to hear it and they resist. But I want to know if I'm going into a combat zone and they have like some kind of like super high speed weapon. I don't want the people that are giving me intelligence to leave that out because maybe I won't go and fight. It's like, and then I go in and I don't know this is there and I get like hammered. My crew gets hammered. That would be really effed up. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be like, because we're in war. I'm a warrior, but I'm also a spiritual, very spiritual, more spiritual now, I believe, than at any time in my life, and more leaning on the capabilities of the spiritual warrior side than the kinetic side, because I've been able to do a lot of very very powerful spiritual warfare that I've talked about in my books and on shows and so forth. So that's really where the power is, where we have the spiritual, warfare side, and it's not like you're going in with as a spirit, because I tried this. Uh, you can't go in and fight them with like I'm going to kick their ass. I talked about that, and that's how Archangel Michael came in and said, "Well, we're gonna give you another shot at this, and you got to do this with love." So you have to come in with love, as a lot of people have heard, is the most powerful force in the
Yes.
universe.
Yes, it is.
So why wouldn't you use that? Because people are like, I can't love them. Well, then you're not using the most powerful force in the universe. It's not. It's not like you're loving them. It's God's love. It's God's love. So you're just tapping into God's energy, because we all can do that, and you're sending that God energy out there to defeat the enemy. So that's where, I mean, that's what they've done. I mean, when they beat the drums and went around the walls of Jericho and they fell, they didn't have battering rams.
That's right.
They had drums, and they were like chanting, and that energy of the vibrational energy, the positive vibrational energy, brought those walls down. So that's one of the things that most people are like, oh, that's something from history that's made up. It's not real. we've been given this information over time, and now of all times is where it needs to be implemented, and implemented by more of us than at any time in history, because we're going through another cycle where the Earth basically responds to our vibrational frequencies, and if our vibrational frequencies are out of whack or negative, if you have child trafficking and you're adrenochroming children in your state like they are in some of these states, you're going to see some problems. And if it's very prominent in certain cities, Sodom and Gomorrah, then you're going to see these cities destroyed.
That's right, as it should be. And I love your conversation about the spiritual, because that's something that you and I are deeply attuned to. And I know whenever I remote view and see things, it's the Lord showed me it's my opportunity. I call it pray it down, but it gives me an opportunity to try to change the future. And I believe that that's part of the reason why I've been gifted with the ability, is so that I can say, no, none of my watch. I do not allow that. And I start praying it down. And I know that by doing that, it will either sometimes eliminate it totally, but at a minimum, not make it as bad as it would have been. And so, I love that aspect. I love the power of prayer. You and I are able to see in the spirit world. So we actually see, demons and angels responding to the power of prayer, and the ability to command. I know I command angels, you fight with angels. And this is how we win, because it's a battle of good versus evil. And those are the tools, I think, in our toolbox that we have now to defeat this.
Yeah, and they're with us more than ever before. I think we're stronger. Humanity's stronger than any time in history. We're breaking free from, a control system that's been here for over 10,000 years, since the fall of Atlantis. The fall of Atlantis was that flood, worldwide flood that happened. It was a chance that humanity had. They'd already been infiltrated, and it was a chance for humanity to raise a consciousness, but their consciousness had been compromised, and it was being taken down on a massive level, and the Earth responded. Right? So
Right.
we're going to see the Earth is responding now, and it's going to respond on a certain level, probably in certain areas, but not on the worldwide scale that we've seen in the past. Of course, the negative types are going to try and push that, because they would like to see us like the Georgia Guidestones, only 500 million left, but there'll be a lot more left this time, because I think that a lot of people are here to witness and to raise their consciousness and continue forward. So that's the biggest problem that we have, convincing people that you can win. So a lot of people are just deciding it's just too tough, and they're checking out, or they're being impacted, and they're not using, like you're talking about, the spiritual warfare. Because it's interesting, because you said not on my watch. That's a military term. It's not going to happen on my watch. So there are many of us that are taking that I won't say militant, but spiritual, military
Yes.
type, warrior, spiritual
Yeah.
warriors. So I mean, women have fought alongside men in many wars in history. So I think the Spartan women were highly trained, and they fought. The Spartans, their civilization, their culture lasted a long time. How long have we been here in America? Well, 250-year celebration. So
Yeah.
that's a drop in a bucket of time. So will we continue forward? Some people have seen that no, America doesn't continue forward, but I believe it will, and it may not be. It will not be. I'll say that it's not. It may not. It will not be in the capacity that we're seeing right now, because there's a lot of things that are compromising humanity, consciousness, children, and so forth. That's not going to be allowed to go forward. And those of us that are the spiritual warriors are going to make sure it doesn't go forward.
That's right. I say we're in an Ecclesiastes 3:3 time, a time to tear down and a time to build. And these evil systems have to go and godly systems have to be created. And I agree, the United States of America will stand because we're actually in covenant with God. We're the only nation in covenant with God. Our forefathers put us there. And covenant's very strong, and it's impossible to break covenant. And we do need to come out of this looking different because of what's happening now just can't stand. So I have thoroughly enjoyed our conversation, Michael. I knew whenever the Lord said, just let him go, let him go and let him talk about whatever he wanted to talk about, that, we were in for a ride, buckle in. But Jesus said, you will know the truth and the truth will set you free. The truth is nothing to be afraid of. The truth is very empowering. And that's how we break out of the MK Ultra. And that's how we win, is by knowing this is what could happen and very likely will. And we need to pray about what our part is in order to protect ourselves, protect our loved ones, protect our nation, and do the very best that we can to come out of this on the other side victorious.
Very good. And there are tools for us, and I think that LifeWave is definitely one of the major tools that we could have at our disposal. The patches and the water machine, the Celergize. Some of them don't know that they're very close to going, but they're once you reach that point where you're getting close, and I see some of those people, it's like it's sad. It's sad to see, but we try and help them. We try and get patches to them, and they say, I tried that. And I'm like, you try it long enough. So
isn't it amazing? That's how I even connected with you, is God had me start watching your shows. I'd never heard who you were before. And God had me start watching your shows, and you had David Schmidt on talking about how the patches would turn around those effects. And God said, I want you to buy that patch. I had no idea what it was and what it would do, but it's been astounding, for both of us. I mean, the physical changes are undeniable. And now, and all the many people that we're helping, it is God's gift to mankind. We say God's in the patches. And now we've got our X2O water, which is like, oh my goodness, taking us to a whole new level. Do you know I'm up to 109 wins in 70 days? 109 observable changes just from drinking water.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And on some levels, I think maybe I wouldn't be here without the water machine. So I think it's definitely helped a lot of us turn corners and stay healthy. And I would like to have everybody try it, but again, we could have the whole world try it, but there's those people, same thing, that just aren't going to listen. They just it worked for you, but it's not going to work for me. We have the same physicality. We're both human beings. We have red blood runs through our cells and cellular structures that can be compromised and so forth, but it won't work for me. All right, so it works for everybody, and we've seen it work for people. I can't absolutely claim that it's going to work for everybody, but we've seen it work for a lot of people that stay on it, and those people that stay on it for a long period of time just start coming out with just, I didn't think it was working for me, but I had this. I'm never going to not stop. I'm never going to stop using this. So it's the same thing with the water machine and so forth. It's helped a lot of people that were not doing really well, myself included, and it just really helped us turn around and get healthy again. So the patches are great, but sometimes we need a little extra. I needed extra. So I, as you guys can probably imagine, a lot of us that do this type of work, they try and compromise us a lot more than average people. So there's all kind of stuff that comes at us. So we need extra, but those people that just kind of like just doing their own thing, it's amazing for them. Those people that like to get or do get great results and want to share them, uh, that's that's how we came together.
Yeah.
And that was God's gift, you coming in and working together, with my organization. So
Yes.
between the two of us, we, helped tremendous amounts of people. That's like 111 where I'm at right now. So it's like one of those angelic numbers. So
Yeah.
it's like a
Yeah.
little sign there, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't always watch the clock, but sometimes I get what time, and there it is. Is the angel. Thank
Yep.
you, angels. So it is a fantastic product. We don't do these shows just for the product. It's 95% helping people,
Yeah.
and this information, and then we give like 5%, sometimes even less, of another product that could help you along the same lines of what we just talked about for over an hour. So that's incredible. I love it when people get involved. I love it when I hear from them, as you and I can attest.
Yes.
We've helped a lot of people on an unbelievable level, like a miraculous, godlike, angelic level. And I think that if people, I don't think I know, if people get involved with the product, they'll have great results. Of course, again, in this environment that we're in, where they monitor and control information, we can't be open about this because a lot of people are like, "Why can't you just come out and say,
I
you know,
know, Michael.
this?" Well, that's because, just like we've been talking about, there's a control system that does not want us to succeed in anything. They want to control us and make us slaves, just like we talked about in Moses' time.
Yeah.
So, of course, fortunately, we have a Moses-like person, President Trump. But that they can't. They're trying to attack him, trying to discredit him. Oh, your staff turns into a snake. Ours does too. We got yeah, and oh wow, your staff actually eats our snake. So that's what we're doing with LifeWave. They're throwing down their caduceus. It's a snake.
Yeah.
How about that? And it goes back to ancient times where there was manipulation with all that, and we've heard that there is that going on. So
Mm.
again, I look at people and I'm like, if you just got on the patch, and for some people it's too late, right? It just is, because I know that some people are like they're like, I've tried everything that the doctors wanted me to do, and I'll try this, and they're like on the deathbed.
Yeah.
It's a little too late, right? So you sometimes, because we've had some people like get
And I
up.
was going to say,
We've had some people get up.
actually,
There are miracles out there, and I think a lot of that is kind of like what we're talking about. Some people don't let fear into their lives,
mm,
even though they're massively compromised, even though a lot of stuff is coming at them. They stay focused. They still trust in God. I
yeah,
think that's fantastic, and people say prayers over these God's gifts to
yeah.
us, I believe, and they put them on, and it works miracles. Yeah, so it does happen.
Yes, I have a customer that every time she drinks a glass of X2O water, she prays for David Schmidt, the LifeWave employees, everyone who made the product and delivered it,
Uh,
you, me, all of our team. Yes. So before every glass, she prays for everyone for their safety and blessings. And I think that's beautiful. It's why we do what we do.
that's inspiration. I got to do that too. That's good.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Exactly. And of course, in turn,
Hmm.
the water is really blessing her.
Yeah, it's a water of life, I believe, and it's we're all light beings, and it's literally infused with light, and we drink it, and it goes in our bodies, and it does miracles
Yes.
for the most part. But who are we to say? Some people will look at it from the doctor's point of view, the medical community. That science is actually there. So a lot of people say, "Well, trust the science." Well, then you should be using this product. So, because the
Exactly.
science is there. So again, some people are going to get involved, and some people aren't. Some people are going to get, when these events come, they're going to get, consciously compromised because uh, we've both had Kathy O'Brien on. I had
Yes,
her on just recently.
me too.
She talked about how they were going to, have a congressional hearing on the uh, MK Ultra. What better person to have come testify than Kathy O'Brien?
Exactly.
Well, lo and behold, they shut that down because somebody went into the DNI's office. Whoever that is, I don't know who it is because we heard it's like uh, somebody, but that person now seems to be, oh, my husband is sick, so I'm leaving. But on my way out, I'm gonna do this, and I have the information. She just did a show just recently. She kept slapping where she had this manual of all this stuff on the Fauci. And I was
Yeah,
like, whatever. What happened to all that other stuff on MK Ultra and JFK files and all that stuff
that's
that
right.
somebody came into your office and just walked out with that?
Yeah.
So there's so much compromised stuff going on out there. Uh, you know, it's unbelievable, and some people just still believe that person is good. So I'm not gonna like hurt anybody's feelings by naming names, but it seems like uh, some people don't like that either because I've called a lot of people out, and then I get problems with that. So I'll just point out some things that have happened that are very suspect, and you guys can make your own assessment. So,
Exactly. And you pointed out quite a bit of truth today. I, for one, am very, very grateful. I, for one, actually did take notes while you were talking. So, and I'll probably listen to the show again because I want to make sure my notes are thorough to know what to do, to be able to pray moving forward, what to do. So, what are your final thoughts as we close out the show, Michael?
yeah, love is the strongest force in the universe. Surround yourself with love. Surround your loved ones with love, even if they don't believe. It can help because maybe it will help them. I don't know. It's up to them. But it seems to work quite a bit, and you can send love to people that seem to be, in the way of our freedoms and so forth. I can tell you that a lot of those people that I've sent love to are no longer here, or no longer in positions of power, and literally no longer here.
Yeah,
So it love. I can speak very very positively about this, and give you lots of examples of how I've used that love, and it does work. So focus on that. It'll make a difference.
I agree. That's beautiful. Well, thank you again so much, Michael, for being on today.
Thanks, Lynn. Always a pleasure and an honor to come on with you because you're tapped into. I love it.
I do too. Thank you so much. And for everyone listening, until next time, this is Lynn Scott Hagerman, where truth is rising.
Hello, Patriots. I'm at Restored Republic via a GCR update compiled by Judy Byington. President Donald Trump has given the green light. Global currency reset completed across 209 nations. Emergency broadcast system activated worldwide. Imminent. Global blackout, 10 days of darkness. Global military alliance to take over media. Make over 1,000 globalists arrest and take out the global criminal mafia. Judy note on Sunday, June 21st, 2026, the global currency reset went live across the world for 200 plus gold asset-backed nations. Central banks had been seized and credit unions integrated into the new global financial system. On that same Sunday, June 21st, Q said on Telegram, "It would take a little time, but when the banks finally officially died, your fake debts would die with them. For decades, you've been told you owe money to the bank, government, credit card company, electrical company, mortgage lender, IRS. It was all a lie. Every so-called debt you've ever carried was built on fraud. You were born into a system that registered your life as a corporate entity and then created a trust in your name. That trust was monetized. Bonds were issued, and your existence became a financial instrument traded behind the scenes, while you were taught to slave away and make payments on money that was already prepaid. Mortgages, utility bills, student loans, medical debt, they were not real obligations. They were engineered contracts based on deception, forged through legal trickery and hidden language. That all ran through the banks. The banks were not financial institutions. They were gatekeepers of a rigged system. They control the flow of fake currency, enforce debt slavery, and protect the interests of the elite. Every time you swipe your card, pay your mortgage, or send in a utility bill check, you are feeding a machine that was designed to drain your life force and keep you compliant. The moment banks officially collapsed, you would no longer be able to make payments. The bank will not be able to receive them. Collection agencies will vanish. Automated systems were now set to crash. As the banks died, they will say you still owed the money, but with what proof? If the banks no longer existed, the debts they created no longer existed. They could not enforce what they could no longer track. They could not demand what they could no longer control. They cannot imprison you in a system that has been exposed for what it really was, a global con. The banks were now dying, and when they did, the greatest lie ever told will finally be burned to the ground. As of Sunday, June 21st, President Trump was at Camp David, commanding the fall of the big banks through the global currency reset to gold asset-backed currency across 200-plus nations. The gold asset-backed quantum financial system was now 100% live across the globe and has been fully operational since Friday, May 1st, 2026. This week, the Global Military Alliance was overseeing the global currency reset, ZIM bond redemption, and currency exchange appointments. Big central banks have been seized, while local credit unions have been integrated into the new global financial system. The emergency broadcast system activation was imminent, 10 to 12 days of a controlled blackout and temporary martial law. When the EBS hits, you'll witness the fall of the media, banks, elite, and their demonic empire as truth floods every TV, radio, internet screen via Starlink satellites. This is it. No more warnings. The children are being avenged. The traitors will burn. The storm is now. What we thought we knew but didn't really know, and now are supposed to know but don't have a clue. With clones, doubles, made-up movies, Hollywood-style, and Trump's military alliance throwing more popcorn at us, it gets so confusing. Sunday, June 21st, Michael Robinson is Michelle Obama, a trans. Barry Soetoro is Barack Obama, a homosexual. Why is that so hard for some people to get? Martial law on Telegram. Sunday, June 21st, 2026, Fox News. Barack Hussein Obama's trash can presidential center, yes, it does look like a trash can, is opening in Chicago, and black contractors are furious, saying, "We haven't been paid. They have not gotten their money." A lot of the black community has been protesting outside the library, calling it hideous and replacing their land. The cost to build it ballooned up to $850 million plus. Like his presidency, this is a failure. Martial law on Telegram.
EBS, blackout, martial law, lockdowns. Sunday, 21st June 2026, imminent global blackout. EBS, 10 days of darkness, secret tribunals at Gitmo, over 1,000 elite arrests and indictments unsealed this week. Gitmo TV on Telegram. As of June 17, 2026, the intensity is boiling over. Elite trials have quietly begun, with top cabal figures dragged into military tribunals. Mainstream media is silent, but don't be fooled. Their world is collapsing, and nothing can stop it. Gitmo is now the epicenter for these trials, with high-profile elites like Klaus Schwab and George Soros undergoing questioning. These are the people who believe they could manipulate the world forever, but they're falling, and the military is taking over. As we approach the new financial age, Gesera promises a massive wealth transfer. Power is being ripped from the corrupt and returned to the people. The quantum financial system QFS, is already freezing the assets of these elites, and soon their wealth will be distributed to you, the rightful owners. Global prosperity is just around the corner. Over 1,000 secret indictments have been unsealed this week. Banking elites in Switzerland, New York, and London are being flown to secret locations for interrogation. Their escape routes are closed, money frozen, and assets confiscated. Don't believe the mainstream lies about resignations. These people are being taken down for human trafficking, financial terrorism, and mass corruption. The 10-day blackout is imminent, and EBS is ready to go live. Meanwhile, Russian Spetsnaz and Brazilian special forces are embedded deep within cabal-controlled sectors, extracting high-value targets. In Nevada, new military strikes hit underground bases housing secret weapons meant to control the public during the blackout. These bases have been obliterated. Weapons such as EMP devices, bioweapons, and mind control technology have been seized by the White Hats, all part of the Cabal's crumbling empire. Top-level Cabal members are on the run, but nowhere is safe. Special ops forces are hunting them down in remote locations like the Arctic and Pacific Islands. Military forces are preparing to storm government buildings during the blackout to extract key political figures tied to the Cabal. Here's the kicker. EBS will broadcast live feeds of these trials, exposing the Cabal's darkest crimes that will shake society to its core. The Cabal's days are done. Prepare for justice and the dawn of a new era.
Guru Information and Intel. Sunday, June 21st, breaking news. The Clarity Act momentum is unstoppable. Juana Savinol telegram. The Senate has officially confirmed a high-stakes meeting next week to finalize the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act. As digital assets continue moving into the mainstream, discussions surrounding the future of finance are accelerating at an unprecedented pace. Many observers believe this could be another major step toward a more transparent and technology-driven financial landscape. At the same time, conversations surrounding QFS, Nisara Jasara, and the evolution of global financial systems continue to grow across online communities worldwide. Whether you see these developments as connected or separate, one thing is becoming clear. The future of finance is changing faster than ever before. The world is watching. The conversation is growing.
Good morning. It's Monday. It's the 22nd of June. We're virtually halfway through this year, and where has it gone? It's amazing how fast it disappears. Time is flying. So much is going on. We saw over the weekend that Israel had attempted to attack Iran, the Lebanon, and it all backfired, and it backfired badly, because as it went for Iran, the defense system that Iran now has was provided by the Russians and quietly by the Chinese. The protection system that Iran has is something like 20 years ahead of what Israel and the US has. And they're sitting back in complete shock horror at the fact that the defense system that they have in place in Iran cannot be penetrated with what the current US or Israel has. And the problem is when you poke a bear like Iran, its restraint has been incredible for the last few months. But sooner or later, Iran will bite your head off. But this is all part of the pantomime. This is all part of the movie, because we're seeing a shift. And this has to be done drip by drip. There are commentators out there who are criticizing Trump for siding with Israel. These commentators have got little content between their ears. They have very little going on in their head, let alone their soul. Because if you really know what's going on, you know that this is all part of the plan. This is all part of the movie. What is happening right now is done to expose Israel. And Donald Trump is having to expose it from the inside out. Whether it's Jared Kushner and his little island in the Lebanon, Israel and Iran. It's all part of dismantling the old system. Now, is it the way I would have done it? No. But I'm not the person who's planning it. The people who are planning it are working very closely with God. Because we're not just up against Israel. We're not just up against the deep state. We're not just up against the Illuminati. We're up against evil. And evil is behind all of it. And you need God's help and God's guidance to take out what is truly evil. And you need somebody with the strength of character, like Donald Trump, to go inside and take them apart. And that's what's happening. So for those commentators who are saying, oh, he's siding with Israel, take your sunglasses off, open your eyes, open your heart. And when you connect to your creator, you'll find out the truth. Morning, Drew.
Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, everyone. Keir Starmer is reportedly expected to announce his resignation today after mounting pressure from within the Labour Party. Woohoo! Charlie, who's taking over?
Well, you know, I've said it many times before. It doesn't matter if it's Labour or Conservative or Reform or Rejoice or whatever they are, Regain or whatever you are. You're both cheeks of the same arsehole. Let's get it straight. And they're talking about Andy Burnham. He's worse than Keir Starmer. Frying pan and fire springs to mind. And it's all part of the pantomime, again, to wake people up. And people are celebrating, oh, we're getting rid of that idiot. Being replaced with another idiot. We need to get away from two-party government. And for the British people, this shows how dumb you've become that you allow a change of leadership without a vote. You did it when the Conservatives were in. You know, first of all, you had Boris Johnson, you had David Cameron. You didn't vote for any of these people. And then Rishi Sunak. No, just swap them in, we'll do what we want. We'll do what we want, we don't care about you. Wake up. They're about to change the government in the UK with another dickhead. And you're just hey, we got rid of Starmer. You don't realise that your country is being run by somebody you haven't voted for. You don't know his policies. You haven't voted on policy. And this is to wake you up to go, hang on. We've had 5, 6, 7 changes of government without a vote. We've had 5 changes of leadership without a vote. And you just sit there and go, oh, thank God we got rid of him. Then we go, now you get another one, another dickhead in power. And then you wonder why you're up the creek without a paddle. It's time to wake up. It's time to take back control. And these people will be held accountable. But the job of this pantomime, the job of this movie is to wake up the sleepers. But if you're sat in front of your television in the UK, which most of you are, not my audience, but most of those, are sat there being fed whatever rubbish there is that comes out.
President Donald Trump has publicly accused former President Barack Obama of treason. Speaking to reporters, Trump claimed thousands of additional intelligence documents would support his allegations. naming not just Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, James Comey, James Clapper, and John Brennan.
Well, it'll all come out. Everything will come out in the end. And I've said it before. I said it yesterday. We were out for lunch on Father's Day. We were out for lunch, and I said, the truth always comes out in the end. It doesn't matter whether it's a day, a week, a month, a year, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. There's many truths that are going to come out where the people are already dead. But it always comes out in the end. And with this whole journey, and I've said this for a long time, the light.
Friday, June 19th, America for the Bankers, MAGA Intel Hub on Telegram. Count Cherep Spiridovich, a Tsarist general who battled the Bolsheviks in the Russian Revolution, published a book in 1926 entitled The Secret World Government, which shows how the Rothschilds' plan for world tyranny dominates modern history. He cites an interview with German Chancellor Otto von Bismarck, 1876, in which Bismarck explained that the Rothschilds, who already controlled Europe, were afraid in the middle of the 19th century that the United States would become independent of them if it remained one nation. The plan, therefore, was to divide the United States between England, controlled by Lionel Rothschild, and France, controlled by James Rothschild. France was to take over the South, while British Canada annexed the defeated North. As a preparatory move in 1863, France and Spain invaded Mexico with 30,000 troops. Britain, France, and other European powers were ready to snuff out the young republic, but were deterred by Russia, the only European nation not in the Rothschilds' thrall. Tsar Alexander II sent his fleets to New York and San Francisco, declared that an attack on the United States was an attack on Russia. Meanwhile, the U.S. Congress, stimulated by Lincoln, created greenback dollars to finance the war and escape indebtedness to the foreign financiers. They, the Rothschilds, understood at once that the United States would escape their grip.
Joined today by JP. He's a U.S. Army veteran paratrooper. He connects with ETs, spiritual interdimensionals. He's an expert in water purification systems of all types. He's been sent into ancient alien structures known as arcs. What he found wasn't just technology, it was alive. His missions, all classified, reveal that these arcs respond to consciousness, hold unknown symbols, and are awakening beneath our feet in oceans and solar system now. JP is sharing his experience with the world, and we're looking forward to what you're going to share with us today, JP. Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, Michael. Thank you for having me on your show. It's all about disclosure, all about disclosing what's really happening in the background with us, and at the same time protecting this beautiful country while we do it.
Yeah, fantastic. And thanks for your service. I know you've been on. I've looked. For years, you've been on a lot of shows with Dr. Michael Sala, and I listened to a couple of those just recently. So you're kind of new on my radar. So I'm looking forward to learning more about you. So give us a little background. How you got into the programs and so forth.
So when I was 7, I had an experience in upstate New York. I woke up in the middle of the night and it was snowing, and I followed this light, this orb out of my house, and I went to the woods following this orb. And when I went to the woods, I closed my eyes, I opened my eyes, and I was back in my house. And I don't remember feeling cold. I don't remember hearing the wind or the woods. Everything was, like quiet when I had that experience. But that's when I was 7. My first main experience happened in a farm in Brazil. I married a Brazilian woman. I hit the jackpot. She took me to Brazil to meet her parents. And when I went to meet her parents, her father, my father-in-law, he said, "Oh, let's go to the farm and we can do some churrasco. We can eat some meat and we can have a blast, doing a barbecue." And I said, "Okay, we're talking about food. Let's go over there."
Absolutely.
So we went to this farm in Goiânia. That's in the center of Brazil, near Brasilia. We went there, and over there is beautiful. It's like Sedona. You can see the stars, the constellations, no light pollution. It's beautiful. The second night, the first to the second night that we were there, I woke up in the middle of the night. I was really tired because that same, I wanted to feel what was farm life, and I regretted it because they had me feeding all the cows with this salt-like food that you have to give them. And then the farm guy said, "Oh, we have to go back and take the salt away because it's going to rain if the cows eat it." And I'm like, "Oh, crap." So we had to go. All this was like black and blue, all cut up because these bags that you feed the cows, they weigh like 80 pounds each. So we worked all day feeding these cows. So that same night I was tired. I woke up and I hear this humming sound. And I look out from the farmhouse, everybody's sleeping. And I walk out and I walk like 200 yards towards this light. And I'm saying like, "Oh crap, what the heck is this?" I come from a Christian background. I did not believe in aliens or UFOs. I didn't know what it was. I get close to this thing that was hovering, but it was connected to the floor. I'm like, "What the heck is this?" And it was like a bluish white color, and it was humming. I was like, "What the heck is this? This is crazy." So I get close to it and I touch it and I feel a vibration that goes into my hands and my arms and it connects to all my body. And I feel like this metallic taste in my tongue, like if you had like a lot of coins in my tongue, like a lot of quarters or something, like a metal. I closed my eyes. I opened my eyes. I was back in the farm. You could see my footprints because over there the dirt is red. And from there on, I kept having experiences with these people that people call Nordics. I call them people. They look like us. They just have a higher technology. They fly these saucer-like ships. They have technology that is more advanced. And I usually tell people, if you have a cell phone and you go to the Amazon and you show these Indians these cell phones, they think you're a god, right? If you show them the technology that we have, they'll think you're a god. How about if we have somebody that's higher than us and they show us their ship? Most people would think they are gods. They just have a technology that's probably a couple hundred years more advanced, or they're connected to the governments, not just our government, but the governments around the world, and they share their technology. So I had that first experience in Brazil interacting with the Nordic, and I was getting like these downloads. It was insane. And I was living in Tampa when I came back to the States. I stayed in Brazil for 1 month, visiting all Brazil. But after that, I did not want to talk to nobody. It was just a shock to me. I was quiet after that experience, and I was just zoned out. When I get back to the States, I was living in Tampa, Florida by MacDill Air Force Base. And I was getting picked up by these people dressed in uniform, but no patches, no nothing. The uniform was black. These vans, these white vans, they picking me up, taking me to this like white room, sitting me in the chair and asking me, "Hey, what happened in Brazil? We know what happened in Brazil, and we want you to tell us what happened." by detail. And I kept denying it. I said, nothing happened in Brazil. You know, nothing happened. So they kept asking me questions until I broke. They took me into a building near MacDill Air Force Base. And they kept saying, hey, we know what happened. So I said, yeah, I had an experience with some ship or whatever you want to call it. And these people came out the ship and yeah, it was weird. And they said, okay. So these other people were telling me not to talk about this. And then other people were telling me, hey, just talk about it. And these other people were in other vans telling me, hey, in this time, you're going to have a ship flying over your head. Take out your camera and take a picture and send it out. I was like, send it out to who? Who are these people talking about? So I took a picture of a helicopter interacting with a TR-3B looking ship, and it went to the Tampa Bay Times. Also, the Tampa Bay Times, you can look it up. The Tampa Bay Times, I took a picture of a cigar-shaped ship, and you can see literally the orbs coming out of these ships. And the Tampa Bay Times also put that out when I gave this information. I'm talking about 2009, 2008, I started having these experiences. It started off from there. Now this one right here happened in Orlando, Florida. I was meditating, right? And after I took this picture, I lost my job. And I think I also shared this picture with Clayton Morris on Redacted.
Wow.
Yeah. I was
awesome. Good job.
I was on his show. And he did a beautiful special on me. He did two episodes special, and I dropped these pictures. And apparently Stephen Greer was using my pictures in Washington, D.C. He did not ask for these pictures, but he said it was an Army whistleblower. I don't really consider myself like a whistleblower or nothing like that. I get the green light to talk about these things, and I have to go through a lot of paperwork in order to put this insane information out. And I worry, sometimes about my life. I do, because you got the black hats that don't want this information out, and you got the white hats that do.
Right.
So I think the white hats were telling me to take these pictures and to share it to the public. And now we have these disclosure happening in different ways. That is beautiful. We see this information coming out in different ways.
Yeah, so it sounds like they're kind of using you to disclose. And so how far back was it time frame wise where you talked about 7 years old? So you're probably having these experience, from birth or who knows.
Yeah.
Then all the way in Brazil, middle of Brazil, you have another experience. And this is where this white hat group contacted you. How long ago was that?
This was 2013, 2020. That's when they started contacting me, because in between I was having a lot of different weird experience that my family thought it was diabolical or I said, no, man, this thing is real, man. They're contacting me. You got these ships that look like egg ships coming down with these Indian guy coming out, and then you have this after a couple years before I talked about that. Then you have these pilots coming out saying that they were dealing with these ships that look like eggs, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Sorry, excuse my, but I was like, what's going on?
Yeah,
I'm having all these experiences, and now they're telling me, some people are telling me not to talk. and other people are telling me to talk that I'm protected. So I'm going to go with the protection part of it. And then on top of all that, you got the white hats telling me to join the military. And I did join the military because apparently I was bringing these ships down. My father had an experience in Puerto Rico. I think my grandfather also had an experience in Puerto Rico. So right now we know that Puerto Rico is full of military presence. Yep. And throughout the years, we have had UFOs that came out through the oceans, and people have documented that in the island of Puerto Rico. So I think it's a generational kind of thing that has happened with me.
Yeah. So this is the guy that lives in the Tampa area, and he saw a Tic Tac Memorial Day. So I know that gentleman. So, I mean, you've had these experiences. I'm like you. I had experiences, and I was like, I don't know, and then eventually more and more stuff started happening to me, and I was like, okay, I'm part of some kind of program here, and then more and more stuff started coming. So I've done regressions into having these memories come through. So for you, it sounds like they knew that you were having contact.
Yeah, they knew.
And they're like, okay, you're having contact. What do you know about this? They're trying to see how much you're awakening to it. And I saw you. How many shows have you done with Dr. Michael Sala?
Well, Dr. Sala, I think like 50, 52.
Oh my God.
And then
I saw you started like 4 years ago, and it's like all the way up to the present, you're still doing shows with him?
Yeah. They gave me, to share information with him. So I'm just doing what I'm told. He does a good job bringing this.
He does a really good job. And I think, he's kind of like that conduit between that side to, those of us that are, waking up to this, the average person or so forth. So that's interesting. So it sounds like you have been tapped into to be a conduit to all of us. And I think this is fantastic. So now one of the things I want to talk to you about, because I've had these thoughts, this experience, and I saw the one where you did with with Dr. Sala, where you're talking about past lives. And I think that my thoughts are that they somehow know that we've had these past lives, that's why we get tapped into by extraterrestrials and so forth. Mm-hmm. And so tell us a little bit about that. This is absolutely fascinating, because I was like, ta-da, so somebody is like having these experiences too. I knew that this is a thing.
So, we always know about deja vu and all that. And I know that we have had multiple probably lives, maybe if you're in a Christian background, you probably won't believe that. But I believe that we have lived many lives, and you have experienced, and some people also believe that when you live different lives, it's living lives that was in the past, right? But they don't explain about how the quantum world or the quantum entanglement physics things work, because you can also be living a life that was from the future. Okay, so you could be living a life from the future and experiencing this past that you are living now, or a life from the past that was experiencing this life that you're living now. So when you get to the quantum entanglement and how that works, and how every time it's connected to one, and everybody is connected to each other. If you study how vibration and how frequency works, that's when it gets into the spiritual and interdimensional realm of things, and that's what I think Washington D.C. are talking about, that these beings that are communicating with us that these people that are communicating with us, these ETs, can be coming from different timelines, or they can be either us from the future or from the past, or they can be, it's a mixture of living things or us or them. So
that's excellent. Very I mean, yeah, you have a very deep understanding of that. That's fantastic. So I have done research on my past lives, and I've had psychics tell me past lives and all this stuff. And then eventually I got to the point where I started to realize that I've had multiple lives simultaneously. And I think that's one of the things I like to tap into, because we can have these experiences. We can have multiple lives within the space programs and so forth, inner Earth and deep sea programs. I feel like I'm, experiencing all those at the same time with different lives. Yeah. So they tap those of us that have had those and those experiences, I believe. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. When I joined the military, hold on. When I joined the military, I went to Fort Jackson, right?
Nice. I grew up in Columbia, South Carolina. Cool.
I went to Fort Jackson, and from there, I noticed that they were treating me different in Fort Jackson. I'm like, I'm just like the other trainees, this.
Wow, that's incredible, because I know that's there's underground bases there and everything. So
yeah.
So and as a little kid, I remember going to them.
So I was there in the building 213, and I was treated. They had me separated from the barracks upstairs near to where the drill sergeants were. And I'm like, I came in older. I was 35.
Wow.
So, when you go in as old, you're dealing with kids sometimes, and sometimes they tick you off, and it's not like how it was back in the days, like smack you up.
Yeah.
So for Fort Jackson, we never had a graduation.
Oh, wow.
Of training. So it was like the first time we never had that Fort Jackson never had a graduation. It was one of the first times, but I have it in DVDs and all that. And then I went to Fort Lee, Virginia for my MOS, my job. I was 91 Juliet, and I also did other jobs in the military. From there, from Fort Lee, Virginia, I went to Fort Benning, Georgia for airborne school.
Yep.
And
where I went to, good.
It was awesome school. And, it was crazy. they want you to run, 2 miles, 13 minutes. So everybody's throwing up, everybody's running, everybody's throwing up, running, trying to make it through airborne school. So I passed airborne school. And then you had a person, I didn't get my duty station yet. So I had a person that took me to the side, and he says, we want you to join, we want you to become a Green Beret, And I said, nah, I'm not going to become a Green Beret. Oh, come on, man, you're a paratrooper, just hit it up or become a Ranger, So I'm like, oh, I don't know, probably a Ranger. But I don't know, So I denied it. I did not go through the training, but out of nowhere, they put me in 7th Group Special Forces Unit.
Wow.
I start working there. I'm like, out of nowhere, why they're going to put me in 7th Group? I do know Spanish, English, Portuguese, a little bit of Russian, a little bit of Arabic, but
oh my God, dude.
That's why incredible. Would they want me in 7th Group? So
that's why. That's one of the reasons.
Yeah. So in 7th Group, that was another. I was there in the barracks I had my family living in in Orlando, and I was there in 7th Group living in the barracks. And then they used to wake me up at 2:00 in the morning to run with the Green Berets. I'm like, man, these guys, you can't keep up with these guys. These guys are nuts. No, everybody. So the Green Beret, some of the Green Berets used to go through the barracks where the support people were staying,
Yeah.
knock on the freaking door, wake everybody up. You got to keep up with us. Bam! Everybody was running out because when you go out downrange, if you don't keep up with them, they will leave your ass and you won't come back if you're doing a mission with them. So I remember running with them at night, training, and doing other things that we couldn't talk about. Sometimes we go to the field, we see the ospreys land, and another group goes out, like if they're doing a mission, and we keep running, and we were seeing some weird things going on.
Wow.
I know when I was because I was in GSB, Group Support Battalion for 7th Group. And I was a unicorn there because I dealt with the water purification systems, anything that had to do with the Aspens or generators or water purification systems. But they also used me for translation as well. They actually sent me to Louisiana, to this NASA base to train the Ukrainians before they went out for war against Russia.
Wow.
And because of that, I got a Navy Marine medal that I got right here. And when I came back with that, people was like, "How the heck you're an Army guy, and how the heck you get a Navy Marine medal?" I'm like, I don't know, man. It just happened. But in between all that, we were going through a lot of weird.
AP, they basically they wanted you to go through training because they had plans for you. Bigger plans for you, and I'm sure you're going to get to this, but wow, this is fascinating so far. I totally get what's going on here, having been in the military, being a Navy SEAL, and going through this stuff. You're 35. It's like you were probably smart to go, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Guys, I went through training at 21, and I was older than most of the guys, and that was tough. It's like the toughest thing I ever went through. So I can imagine 35 going through that. So good move, but it sounds like they're placing you. They want you in these positions for some reason down the road.
So I think they knew I can summon these ships down sometimes.
Wow.
So on all these conferences, I went to the UK, I went to France, I went to Japan. I've been doing conferences all over the world. I could call these ships down in command, and you could see them come down. And I think you go on a state of meditation, bring these ships down, and they come down and they do like a maneuver, and then they leave off. So I had like 5,000 people that saw it in the UK, a couple thousand over here in Colorado that saw it when they came down. So it was it's amazing when they do show up,
Yeah. So what do you think you're tapping into when you're calling them in?
I tell people the love frequency.
That's what I talk about all the time too. That's
you have to have that
crazy conversation we're having. Wow.
Yeah, you have to have that love frequency. If you don't have that love frequency, it will take over you. Us being soldiers, sometimes we still can't talk about things that we have experienced. Right? Because it's tough on us. I saw a couple of my buddies go away. To a different realm. So it sucks, it does happen, but everything we do for this country is for a reason, I believe. Sometimes we dealt with other people that were like, oh, if you don't do what we tell you to do, we'll take you on a helicopter and throw you out in the ocean. They'll mess around with us. But I never knew what agency or what, but they still look military like. But I think it's like another type of military. It's not part of the United States or nothing like that. It's like it's a mixture of people
Yeah.
with different languages, different type of skills, but they're dressed in black, and some other thing is in charge of them that they sometimes come to where we sometimes go to our mission and they tell us what to do or not to do, and if we don't comply, they'll do something that you regret, you know.
Yeah. So there's black hats and there's white hats. I've experienced them throughout my career,
Yeah.
35 years in SEAL teams and in the CIA. You start to recognize who they are. But yeah, each group has power, and each group tries to influence those of us like you and I that have special abilities, and they try and control us and capture us.
Yeah, they try to do, and then they know everything. You know, they know who you are, where you've been, how you've been, and it's just I'm being followed every time. You know, and I got evidence that they do follow you, and you got people that protect you, but you also got people that are watching you, making sure you're doing the right move everywhere that you go. And we got technology that's probably 500 or 600 years more advanced than what civilians are have, you know. And I'm sure you would know that, you know, working for these other agencies, you know.
The stuff that I experienced, maybe 50 years, but I have some memories of secret space program and super soldier and all that kind of stuff. They don't come through strong. You know, they have ways to control that part of us. It sounds like some of the stuff that you've experienced is somewhat controlled, and some of it, creeps through, and then they're like, "Oh, what do you know?" It's like, so so you have to be, and then you're like, "Well, what do you know?" It's like, why do I have to tell you? You don't know who's asking, right? So you have to be kind of careful of what you talk about, what you put out, because you don't know which group you're dealing with sometimes. And it sounds like different groups come and abscond you and get you involved in programs and so forth. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that. I know you're
well, I got a guy
up and grab you, and
I got a guy that he works for Washington DC, right? And he also comes to Eglin, and he used to live also in McDill, and he was the one giving me the green light. Yes, you can share that. No, you can't share that. Yes, you can share that. Yeah, that's crazy. You can share that. So yeah, I still got this person that gives me the green light to talk about these things. And that's where people come in and says, "Oh, you're psyop. Oh, you're making this crap up. Oh," I'm just being told what my experience, what can I share with my experience? Why? I don't know. I feel it, I smell it, I taste it, I go through these experiences. I have been to these arcs in the middle of the ocean with other people, other soldiers that I'm still in contact with, that used to be stationed in 7th Group. Some of them are Green Berets, some of them are Air Force. It's like a mixture of branches,
Yeah.
Well, Eglin is one of the biggest Air Force base in the United States, and we're in charge of Southcom. Lo que sea, cuando sea, donde sea, de preso libre. We're in charge to help the people that are depressed and that are caught up with different things that are evil.
Yeah,
I guess. And it has been a weird ride for me, going through these experiences with other soldiers that I'm still in contact with. They don't want to come out and say, "Hey, we've been through the experience." Wow. Because right now, what I went through, I used to come out with a mask. Michael, I was with a helmet, walking around on stage, just to block my identity.
Yeah.
you know. But once I pulled out my face and I went on big shows and all that, the people that have been bothering me, it slowed down a lot.
Good.
You know, it slowed down a lot.
It helped to get out on shows like this and reveal. The more you reveal, the less they seem to bother you.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Good for you.
Yeah. So, you know, I do have a family, you know, and their protection. You know, my neighborhood is really military. You know, so everybody's locked and loaded. So if something does go south, you know, it becomes a little war zone. But, you know, I thank God that everything is coming out little by little. And I'm not shown like if I'm crazy and all that. So I know the next thing that probably is going to drop is the technologies that we're dealing with in the military, that these people are dealing with. When I say people, I'm saying the soldiers that are connected to like space or connected to different technologies that includes portal technologies, right? That if you do study quantum entanglement, you can easily piece together how the portals work, or manipulating space and time. I experienced the med beds over here in Eglin Air Force Base.
Wow.
Also, consciousness, similar to the movie Avatar, we have technology that can transport your consciousness to another body or a biological body being. We have that technology. We got people and teams that are good in remote viewing, that they're enclosed in a room, and you have a team of 5 that can remote view different things and tell you what the heck is really going on. Similar to what the Monroe Institute teaches.
Yeah.
On steroids.
And they can actually influence as well if need be. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, they can influence, and that's what I saw with Disclosure movie. You know, Disclosure Day. I saw a lot of
that. Good.
I saw a lot of similar things that
really, you know, that's good. That's good insight.
Yeah, I don't want to.
So I'm looking.
I don't want to ruin it to you, but
okay, thanks. Yeah, I got to go see it now. Maybe after the show, I got to go run down and see it. So
yeah, it's something that is going to bring you back if you have been through an experience.
Yeah.
You know? And what I tell people, I know it talks about the grays, but when you see the movie, just imagine different races, not just the grays. I know they just put the grays there, but imagine Nordics, imagine other races of ETs if it was another race of ETs. I know they just put grays there because that's the most alien or ET people talk about, you know. But when you see the movie, just imagine other races as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I served the military for 5 years, almost 5 years, you know, more than like 80 jumps, you know, it's not that much compared to other people.
Yeah. It sounds like what they were doing with you is it's something similar with me. They sent me to learn a lot of different skills, a lot of different stuff that most people don't go to, but they kept sending me all these different schools. I'm like, well, this is great. You know, I'm getting lots of experience.
Yeah.
Now, one of them, I started the Navy SEALs first hand-to-hand program. And when I look at my my other lifetimes, I understand that because I have memories of being with Musashi Miyamoto and being his one of his top students and helping him write the book, The 5 Rings. Taro Maganojo, I think that's where it's pronounced. So because I've had these experiences, when I started doing the hand-to-hand program, everything just came natural to me, just on a massive level. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And so I'm like, how can I pick this stuff up so well? And then I started looking at the past, and then the past lives started coming through. And I was like, oh, I've done this in past lifetimes. And I took the Musashi Miyamoto's skill and I learned it and passed it on. So that's when I was in the SEAL teams, I started learning all these different skills from the greatest masters here in the world at the time, because they all wanted to teach us. It was amazing. And so I started teaching all that. So it sounds like, you have had these experiences too, where, you've been to all these different schools, you have all this stuff that's coming to you. God, I just saw that when you had that one show with Dr. Sala, and you talked about how they put you in some type of room as a bed, and there was a screen, so you had past life memories, and they were coming up on the screen.
Yeah,
that is like super high tech. Oh my God.
Yeah, we have these technologies that go basis to basis. It doesn't stay in one spot. You have these technologies that they take out and they bring them to Colorado. They bring them to other bases around the world. Sometimes they're on Navy ships and they stay there for a little bit and then they bring them back to the States. So I'm telling you, it's like 300 to 400 probably years more advanced, because I think it has integrated AGI, artificial general intelligence type of technology that right now we're right now looking into what is AI. But imagine a technology that has AGI, artificial general intelligence, already integrated into it. It brings the technology 400 or 500 years more advanced than what we experience, and that's where we get into the time. We got agencies. I believe, and I believe we have agencies that deal with time, and we have agencies that deal with medical equipments that are far more superior than what we can grow limbs back. We can have somebody live to 130, depending of where they're at, and then we have avatar programs. They put you in the bed and they transport your mind or your consciousness to another place. Yeah. And the way they do it is they connect your heart with your brain to this machine. And I know your heart has 40,000 neurons that connects with your brain. That also scientists are finding this out right now, that your heart also has a memory. Yeah, it's not just your brain. So
you're really tapping into some good stuff, JP. Yeah. This is stuff I've studied for a long time, and it sounds like you're getting exposed to it within these programs, and you're understanding it on a really deep level, a deep enough level that you can transfer that information like you're doing right now in a way that people can understand it. That's fantastic. Good job.
But because of the security of this beautiful nation, there's still things that we can't say still.
Yes.
Yes, we can say these things because this is already out there. This is in movies and shows and programs and different types of drip drops disclosure that has been going out. But there's still things that will shock the heck out of people if it's told to them. This thing, like, there's information that if we talk about, it can affect religion. It can affect us. It can affect how people think in it, everyday status. That, like, imagine they tell you, every day you're being watched by multiple beings every day. If they tell that to people will be like walking around like this, making sure they're doing their things right. So
that's right. Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing stuff. Now, the arcs. Now, I've kind of tapped into the arcs, on another level, but I don't quite understand them on the level it sounds like you do. And I know they're in different places all over the earth. Tell us your information on what you understand about the arcs that are around the world.
The arcs, the different governments around the world knows about the arcs. I think the United States, we have the most information on the arcs. But the Chinese, they know about them. The Russians, they know about them. We got an arc in the Pacific. We got an arc in the Atlantic. We got an arc in the middle of the in middle of Brazil called Gardos Novos. There's one there. There's one in the middle of the United States also, and it's by Arizona. I think it's called the Sand Lakes or something like that. It's a bank that looks white, but it's huge. These arcs are huge, and they're dormant. So inside these arcs, why they call them arcs? Because it has a history of past civilizations that have been visiting these arcs. And every time people break into these arcs and start investigating, something happens that everything starts all over. And nobody understands why. Is it a mechanism that the arcs have that restarts everything over once it's tapped into? Or is it something that happens that let us human beings consciousness connect to the arcs? You know, because these arcs are alive. They're like organisms. They're alive ships. But inside of them, every arc, it looks like they were built in space or something, because they all have the same rooms. Like, you can have scientists in the arcs over here in the Pacific inside this room, and they tell you, hey, go to this B25 room, and in that B25 room, you're going to see this. So they go in the Atlantic arc, and they go to that same room, and everything is the same way. Like it feels like cookie spattered out, you know? And they found one on the moon. We got one of these in the moon.
Wow.
Scattered also in our solar system, these arcs in the rings of Saturn. They got these Oleshki sands by Ukraine. They have an arc there.
Yep.
They have an arc and South Korea. But throughout the world, they also have these smaller ships called Vimanas, or whatever you want to call them, that are buried all around the world, that connects to the arcs, that have the same languages and all that.
Incredible.
These arcs have the capability to release these orbs that come out from our oceans and does recon to different countries to see how the atmosphere is or what's going on, and it comes and reports back to the arc. So the Nordics are involved also with our military. I know that I have seen Nordics working with the military, training how to fly these flying saucers. I've been to a couple missions, seeing that, and how they walk among us. You know, they dressed us. They put this uniform on and just do what we want you to do, and that's it. And be quiet. Don't talk about this crap. So we pick up these people that look like they have long hair. We take them to the Eglin Air Force Base, to this building that is old, and they go in there. 40 minutes later, they come out different. Like if they were humans, they come out with IDs and all that, and they send them out.
Wow.
What the heck is this? You know? And they send them out like if they're regular humans, and they look like us. They walk among us. There's probably hundreds of them that do that, but they come out from the military bases, and it's a contract that we have with them. I don't know how long this contract it have been happening, but they know all the locations of all these ancient things that we have found. And I think before what happened in Venezuela, we found something in the south of Venezuela. It's similar to what they found under the pyramids in Egypt. So
very cool. Now, I've had just slight memories of going up and being beamed up into some of these ships and interacting with Nordics, but I have almost no memory. I just remember the Nordics. They were upgrading me consciousness wise, and then boom, back to Earth again. And then I was able to do different things after that with my consciousness. Bring in weather and different things. So and the one ship that I remember seeing, I remember looking up, and then it was like a flash, and it was like back again, and then I looked up again. What? And then it took off. It was a cigar shape, and it had like portholes in it, and it was huge. And it went whoop, and I was like trying to get my phone out, take pictures of it. It was gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're definitely interacting with those of us on Earth. Again, maybe the reason why I don't have the memories of these interactions is because, like you were talking about, there's white hats and black hats. If I were to reveal certain things, capabilities, and so forth, it might, cancel out some missions that were planned. So I'm open to, continuing these missions. I think I'm constantly being upgraded over time.
And I think you will. I think you're gonna gain more memories of your past missions or your past lives. That's what it happens. It happens like that. I know a couple of soldiers that went on missions with me and they don't remember nothing. But then you got other soldiers that, oh yeah, I remember that, but let's not just talk about it. So you do got people that remember, but you also got people that don't remember, and their memories get turned on for a certain time when information is out. So maybe certain videos that you will see will trigger them, to come out in a certain way. But it's tough. It's tough because there's things that we still can't talk about, like you say, that can, that they need. Let me see. Okay, wow. Well, they use a visit. Yeah, they observe and all that. I'm just reading the comments.
Yeah, so I put them up there. So I'm glad you're looking at them too. So they definitely interact with because people are attracted to these shows, and it helps to awaken them. They've had slight memories and so forth. And they're like, what is that? And so I know some people have contacted me and they want to know. I'm like, well, you're gonna find out when you find out. So
yeah.
I'm not gonna push these memories for you. You need to. They're gonna happen when they happen.
Sometimes even going out and walking your dog, you see a branch in a different position and it triggers a memory. You never know when these memories will pop up, and sometimes it's shocking. You'll come back home in a fetal position and like, oh my God, I cannot believe that happened to me. It's like that. And I know a lot of my friends, and I'm sure you had a lot of friends too that are no more with us because these memories were overwhelming and they couldn't take it, So they choose the right people, I think, to bring this information out and that they know that can carry not the burden, but carry the weight of this information, because not a lot of people can take this information that we go through, and I love this country so much. This country has been good to me, and I would never, I don't want people to see me as, oh, he's a whistleblower. No, I don't consider myself a whistleblower.
No, I've seen, Dr. Sala will occasionally, ask you questions like, well, that's not really something I'm going to go into. They have their stuff, and we have ours. And you even said something I thought was really important for everybody to hear as well. And you said that even when I reveal positive things, that can, have a negative effect, because I'm revealing something that's very important for humanity.
Mhm.
That's when they really come in hard with the deep state side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. There's always a yin and yang in everything that you share.
Beautiful. Yeah.
There's always a good and bad of the information that you share. You know, and you have to also protect the people that are still doing missions as well. It's not just you doing missions. There's other soldiers out there that are still doing these crazy missions, interacting with ETs, interacting with the interdimensional or spiritual realm, and as when you were doing the missions, you know. So sometimes that's the reason as well that you can't give out as much information, because you also got other soldiers, you know, doing other missions that are still.
And a lot of times they're doing those missions and they don't realize they're interacting with these beings.
Yeah.
Because like you said, they're, you know, some of these beings get transformed, and then they're, you know, part of these groups. Because I've seen throughout my career, I've seen guys get involved in some pretty high speed missions. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You know, you're wondering, but you can't ask.
No.
Because, you know, they're involved in something. It's like I get involved in stuff and I can't tell. They know that. So we all know that you were involved in something at super high speed. Now, some of us will understand that it's a little bit more than just the military. There's more involved in it. But like you're saying, you can't divulge, because that will you know, upset the apple cart in a way that we don't want it to be.
Yeah, we don't want to upset them, you know, because they know where you're at all times.
Yeah.
You know, and I know the UFO community is sad. You know, they're losing a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, we just had Dan Willis, you know, and
it's like almost every other day, or sometimes even every day, somebody else is going. It's happening faster than it's ever happened before.
Yeah. So that's when you know we're close to something big to be disclosed, you know.
Yeah.
It's amazing, but it can be hard sometimes, you know. People want disclosure, but they don't know the weight that this is going to bring to humanity. Once this, I want the consciousness, I want the spaceships, I want to meet the ETs, but they don't know what's behind, what other things comes with that, you know. They don't know, like, I want to join the military, but you don't know when you join the military that they're going to kick you out of C-130 or C-17 to make sure you do your jump, you know. Because when you're when you're out there and you're seeing the trees like this big and you're the first one out, you're like, oh man, I should have done something else, you know. But you do it, you just do it because that's your job, you know. You get an article if you don't do it. So that's life.
Yeah.
You know.
So tell us something you can tell us about like off-planet you know, stuff you've done.
Well, the off-planet things, right, that I have done is like is like similar to what you have, like it's like a glimpse memory.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel it. I felt it. I went there. I was with other soldiers that I still talk to, and they still talk about it too. So I know I'm not nuts because they went through it. So when you go around, I saw Jupiter really close. On a moon called Ganymede, one of the biggest moons we have in our solar system. Is actually bigger than Mercury, you know. Mm-hmm. So I saw the rings of Saturn, and I saw these ships that look similar to futuristic ships gathering like rocks from the rings of Saturn. I remember seeing that, but I felt it was so futuristic, like the suits, everything. Everything was like so futuristic. The everything that you wear, everything that you talk to the people, like if they're already everybody's working as a team, as one, connected. It's like we're a hive mind.
Yeah, telepathically. Yeah.
Yeah, telepathic. And I'm sure it's a type of technology that's connected to the helmet that connects to everybody else, and everybody's connected with each other.
That's awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. That I connected with that right away. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and I remember feeling the vibration of Jupiter. You know, the heartbeat of Jupiter. Every time you get close to a different planet, your heart resonate to that planet. The vibration, the vibration of that planet switches your heart to interact with that planet. So right now our planet is attuned to the Earth frequency right now. But once you go out to other planets, those other planets, they have a different frequency that changes your heartbeat to their tone. So it's different. When people will know when you start seeing astronauts going to Mars, or they're gonna tell you, hey, your heart changes to the beat of other planets. So it has to do with the frequency and the connection of, you just feel different when you visit, when you see the planet, also Earth, for the first time in space. You're like, you can't believe it, how vulnerable we are, you know, how beautiful this Earth is, and we're still here fighting wars, and we're here fighting each other, you know. But when you see us from space and you see this big ball, this big spacecraft flying in space, and we're all in it together, you know, that's when we have to talk about the love and care that we have to have for this ball that we're riding on, you know. And it changes you once you see Earth from space. It does changes you of who we are.
This is interesting. Someone in the chat, Katie, says, I bet Earth feels ghetto. So each, like you're talking about, each planet has a certain frequency, and that's incredible that you're saying the heart, you know, connects with it, because I think the heart is, we don't give it the credit that it deserves. It's on a portal. And it can adjust its frequency to another planet. That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's the heartbeat of Mother Earth.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So ghetto meaning perhaps that you know, compared to other planets and so forth, it's not as evolved.
Well, Earth has a lot of noise. I'll tell you that. You know, you have a lot of things going on Earth.
Yeah.
That we still need to fix. You know, and these beings that are visiting us, or these beings that still live within our oceans, they know about that.
Yeah.
And you got these also beings that live inside our Earth that I also interacted with on other missions, you know. So I have 3 books, Michael.
Oh, good.
We got book 1. This one talks about space arcs, underground cities, and ET contacts.
Nice.
I got book 2. This one talks about underground cities, giants, and spaceports. And this is a recent one that was translated in 3 languages. It talks about the Nordic ETs, space arcs, and the Saturn mission. You know, and you can find that on exopolitics.org, or you can go on jp.missions on Instagram, and all the links are there. You know?
Well, definitely. I'm going to check those books out. So I'm sure they'll probably awaken a lot of things in me. So are they on audiobook or Kindle?
Yeah. They're on Amazon audiobook and everything.
Oh, sweet.
I'll send you guys the link and all that. You guys can.
Yeah, definitely. We'll put that right up. And JP's absolutely incredible. You know, talking with you, I feel like you know, you're a kindred spirit. So it's good to connect. it's good to, yeah, absolutely.
I've been wanting to connect with you, Michael,
Really?
for so long. It's every time we try, like something happens,
Huh. Well,
But
I'm glad it finally. I guess it was the perfect timing.
yeah,
I'm glad we did. So it's going to be. We'll have to do more shows together. Dr. Sala. I mean, maybe we'll do a roundtable with him someday. So it'll be fun because I think the way that the two of us are describing our interactions, I think we can go a lot deeper in a lot of different areas. So
oh yeah,
you're awakening stuff in me, and I think that between the two of us, because of the different levels that we've awakened, it can help awaken a lot of other people out there that are already part of these programs and so forth. And I think the more it's got awakened, the better.
For sure. All I know, the white hats will win. That's all I know.
I agree. Yeah, definitely a golden age coming up. But definitely some challenges ahead as more stuff, as they try to suppress this. And because once more of us break free, like we're describing, there's no turning back. And I think we're pretty much already there to a great extent.
And like you said, it's not only us. There's a lot more soldiers that are going through this. That are getting awakened because of our experiences. You know, you have Rush right now on Washington D.C., but then you got people like us that have been through the missions. That have been through the experiences, and then some people remember, but some people are getting flashbacks. Oh crap! Oh my God! Yeah, I remember that, but I don't remember it like this. But yeah, oh my God! And it's coming, that there's gonna be, well, I called it disclosure of the grunts. Yeah,
because at the grassroots level, that's where it usually prevails and really happens. That's what I've noticed over time. There's been a lot of things that I tried to bring out. It gets suppressed, and all I did was just get enough people involved, and eventually they stopped resisting, stopped suppressing, and then we just moved forward and went to another level. So that's where we're at. And I appreciate your work and what you're doing. It's fantastic. I look forward to listening to your books. So you send us a link, we'll get it up.
Roger
and
that.
We'll do some short videos of this video, so it'll be great. And look forward to getting together with you in the future. Thanks so much,
JP. Sir. Thank you. Akuria Mate, heaven to earth, brother.
Absolutely. Thanks, sir.
Hello, Patriots. I'm at Restored Republic via a GCR update compiled by Judy Byington. President Donald Trump has given the green light. Global currency reset completed across 209 nations. Emergency broadcast system activated worldwide. Imminent. Global blackout, 10 days of darkness. Global military alliance to take over media. Make over 1,000 globalists arrest and take out the global criminal mafia. Judy note on Sunday, June 21st, 2026, the global currency reset went live across the world for 200 plus gold asset-backed nations. Central banks had been seized and credit unions integrated into the new global financial system. On that same Sunday, June 21st, Q said on Telegram, "It would take a little time, but when the banks finally officially died, your fake debts would die with them. For decades, you've been told you owe money to the bank, government, credit card company, electrical company, mortgage lender, IRS. It was all a lie. Every so-called debt you've ever carried was built on fraud. You were born into a system that registered your life as a corporate entity and then created a trust in your name. That trust was monetized. Bonds were issued, and your existence became a financial instrument traded behind the scenes, while you were taught to slave away and make payments on money that was already prepaid. Mortgages, utility bills, student loans, medical debt, they were not real obligations. They were engineered contracts based on deception, forged through legal trickery and hidden language. That all ran through the banks. The banks were not financial institutions. They were gatekeepers of a rigged system. They control the flow of fake currency, enforce debt slavery, and protect the interests of the elite. Every time you swipe your card, pay your mortgage, or send in a utility bill check, you are feeding a machine that was designed to drain your life force and keep you compliant. The moment banks officially collapsed, you would no longer be able to make payments. The bank will not be able to receive them. Collection agencies will vanish. Automated systems were now set to crash. As the banks died, they will say you still owed the money, but with what proof? If the banks no longer existed, the debts they created no longer existed. They could not enforce what they could no longer track. They could not demand what they could no longer control. They cannot imprison you in a system that has been exposed for what it really was, a global con. The banks were now dying, and when they did, the greatest lie ever told will finally be burned to the ground. As of Sunday, June 21st, President Trump was at Camp David, commanding the fall of the big banks through the global currency reset to gold asset-backed currency across 200-plus nations. The gold asset-backed quantum financial system was now 100% live across the globe and has been fully operational since Friday, May 1st, 2026. This week, the Global Military Alliance was overseeing the global currency reset, ZIM bond redemption, and currency exchange appointments. Big central banks have been seized, while local credit unions have been integrated into the new global financial system. The emergency broadcast system activation was imminent, 10 to 12 days of a controlled blackout and temporary martial law. When the EBS hits, you'll witness the fall of the media, banks, elite, and their demonic empire as truth floods every TV, radio, internet screen via Starlink satellites. This is it. No more warnings. The children are being avenged. The traitors will burn. The storm is now. What we thought we knew but didn't really know, and now are supposed to know but don't have a clue. With clones, doubles, made-up movies, Hollywood-style, and Trump's military alliance throwing more popcorn at us, it gets so confusing. Sunday, June 21st, Michael Robinson is Michelle Obama, a trans. Barry Soetoro is Barack Obama, a homosexual. Why is that so hard for some people to get? Martial law on Telegram. Sunday, June 21st, 2026, Fox News. Barack Hussein Obama's trash can presidential center, yes, it does look like a trash can, is opening in Chicago, and black contractors are furious, saying, "We haven't been paid. They have not gotten their money." A lot of the black community has been protesting outside the library, calling it hideous and replacing their land. The cost to build it ballooned up to $850 million plus. Like his presidency, this is a failure. Martial law on Telegram.
EBS, blackout, martial law, lockdowns. Sunday, 21st June 2026, imminent global blackout. EBS, 10 days of darkness, secret tribunals at Gitmo, over 1,000 elite arrests and indictments unsealed this week. Gitmo TV on Telegram. As of June 17, 2026, the intensity is boiling over. Elite trials have quietly begun, with top cabal figures dragged into military tribunals. Mainstream media is silent, but don't be fooled. Their world is collapsing, and nothing can stop it. Gitmo is now the epicenter for these trials, with high-profile elites like Klaus Schwab and George Soros undergoing questioning. These are the people who believe they could manipulate the world forever, but they're falling, and the military is taking over. As we approach the new financial age, Gesera promises a massive wealth transfer. Power is being ripped from the corrupt and returned to the people. The quantum financial system, QFS, is already freezing the assets of these elites, and soon their wealth will be distributed to you, the rightful owners. Global prosperity is just around the corner. Over 1,000 secret indictments have been unsealed this week. Banking elites in Switzerland, New York, and London are being flown to secret locations for interrogation. Their escape routes are closed, money frozen, and assets confiscated. Don't believe the mainstream lies about resignations. These people are being taken down for human trafficking, financial terrorism, and mass corruption. The 10-day blackout is imminent, and EBS is ready to go live. Meanwhile, Russian Spetsnaz and Brazilian special forces are embedded deep within cabal-controlled sectors, extracting high-value targets. In Nevada, new military strikes hit underground bases housing secret weapons meant to control the public during the blackout. These bases have been obliterated. Weapons such as EMP devices, bioweapons, and mind control technology have been seized by the White Hats, all part of the cabal's crumbling empire. Top-level cabal members are on the run, but nowhere is safe. Special ops forces are hunting them down in remote locations like the Arctic and Pacific Islands. Military forces are preparing to storm government buildings during the blackout to extract key political figures tied to the cabal. Here's the kicker. EBS will broadcast live feeds of these trials, exposing the cabal's darkest crimes that will shake society to its core. The cabal's days are done. Prepare for justice and the dawn of a new era.
Guru Information and Intel. Sunday, June 21st, breaking news. The Clarity Act momentum is unstoppable. 107 on Telegram. The Senate has officially confirmed a high-stakes meeting next week to finalize the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act. As digital assets continue moving into the mainstream, discussions surrounding the future of finance are accelerating at an unprecedented pace. Many observers believe this could be another major step toward a more transparent and technology-driven financial landscape. At the same time, conversations surrounding QFS, Nisara Jasara, and the evolution of global financial systems continue to grow across online communities worldwide. Whether you see these developments as connected or separate, one thing is becoming clear. The future of finance is changing faster than ever before. The world is watching. The conversation is growing.
Good morning. It's Monday. It's the 22nd of June. We're virtually halfway through this year, and where has it gone? It's amazing how fast it disappears. Time is flying. So much is going on. We saw over the weekend that Israel had attempted to attack Iran, the Lebanon, and it all backfired, and it backfired badly, because as it went for Iran, the defense system that Iran now has was provided by the Russians and quietly by the Chinese. The protection system that Iran has is something like 20 years ahead of what Israel and the US has. And they're sitting back in complete shock horror at the fact that the defense system that they have in place in Iran cannot be penetrated with what the current US or Israel has. And the problem is when you poke a bear like Iran, its restraint has been incredible for the last few months. But sooner or later, Iran will bite your head off. But this is all part of the pantomime. This is all part of the movie, because we're seeing a shift. And this has to be done drip by drip. There are commentators out there who are criticizing Trump for siding with Israel. These commentators have got little content between their ears. They have very little going on in their head, let alone their soul. Because if you really know what's going on, you know that this is all part of the plan. This is all part of the movie. What is happening right now is done to expose Israel. And Donald Trump is having to expose it from the inside out. Whether it's Jared Kushner and his little island in the Lebanon, Israel, and Iran. It's all part of dismantling the old system. Now, is it the way I would have done it? No. But I'm not the person who's planning it. The people who are planning it are working very closely with God. Because we're not just up against Israel. We're not just up against the deep state. We're not just up against the Illuminati. We're up against evil. And evil is behind all of it. And you need God's help and God's guidance to take out what is truly evil. And you need somebody with the strength of character, like Donald Trump, to go inside and take them apart. And that's what's happening. So for those commentators who are saying, oh, he's siding with Israel, take your sunglasses off, open your eyes, open your heart. And when you connect to your creator, you'll find out the truth. Morning, Drew.
Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, everyone. Keir Starmer is reportedly expected to announce his resignation today after mounting pressure from within the Labour Party. Woohoo! Charlie, who's taking over?
Well, you know, I've said it many times before. It doesn't matter if it's Labour or Conservative or Reform or Rejoice or whatever they are, Regain or whatever you are. You're both cheeks of the same arsehole. Let's get it straight. And they're talking about Andy Burnham. He's worse than Keir Starmer. Frying pan and fire springs to mind. And it's all part of the pantomime, again, to wake people up. And people are celebrating, oh, we're getting rid of that idiot. Being replaced with another idiot. We need to get away from two-party government. And for the British people, this shows how dumb you've become that you allow a change of leadership without a vote. You did it when the Conservatives were in. You know, first of all, you had Boris Johnson, you had David Cameron. You didn't vote for any of these people. And then Rishi Sunak. No, just swap them in, we'll do what we want. We'll do what we want, we don't care about you. Wake up. They're about to change the government in the UK with another dickhead. And you're just getting, hey, we got rid of Starmer. You don't realise that your country is being run by somebody you haven't voted for. You don't know his policies. You haven't voted on policy. And this is to wake you up to go, hang on. We've had 5, 6, 7 changes of government without a vote. We've had 5 changes of leadership without a vote. And you just sit there and go, oh, thank God we got rid of him. Then we go, now you get another one, another dickhead in power. And then you wonder why you're up the creek without a paddle. It's time to wake up. It's time to take back control. And these people will be held accountable. But the job of this pantomime, the job of this movie is to wake up the sleepers. But if you're sat in front of your television in the UK, which most of you are, not my audience, but most of those, are sat there being fed whatever rubbish there is that comes out.
President Donald Trump has publicly accused former President Barack Obama of treason. Speaking to reporters, Trump claimed thousands of additional intelligence documents would support his allegations, naming not just Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, James Comey, James Clapper, and John Brennan.
Well, it'll all come out. Everything will come out in the end. I've said it before. I said it yesterday. We were out for lunch on Father's Day. We were out for lunch and I said, the truth always comes out in the end. It doesn't matter whether it's a day, a week, a month, a year, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. There's many truths that are going to come out where the people are already dead. But it always comes out in the end. And with this whole journey, and I've said this for a long time, the light.
Friday, June 19th, America for the Bankers, MAGA Intel Hub on Telegram. Count Cherep Spiridovich, a Tsarist general who battled the Bolsheviks in the Russian Revolution, published a book in 1926 entitled The Secret World Government, which shows how the Rothschilds' plan for world tyranny dominates modern history. He cites an interview with German Chancellor Otto von Bismarck, 1876, in which Bismarck explained that the Rothschilds, who already controlled Europe, were afraid, in the middle of the 19th century, that the United States would become independent of them if it remained one nation. The plan, therefore, was to divide the United States between England, controlled by Lionel Rothschild, and France, controlled by James Rothschild. France was to take over the South, while British Canada annexed the defeated North. As a preparatory move in 1863, France and Spain invaded Mexico with 30,000 troops. Britain, France, and other European powers were ready to snuff out the young republic, but were deterred by Russia, the only European nation not in the Rothschilds' thrall. Tsar Alexander II sent his fleets to New York and San Francisco, declared that an attack on the United States was an attack on Russia. Meanwhile, the U.S. Congress, stimulated by Lincoln, created greenback dollars to finance the war and escape indebtedness to the foreign financiers. They, the Rothschilds, understood at once that the United States would escape their grip.
2020, it's not over yet. And the election fraud arrests with treasonous Obama and others, are they coming? We've been talking about it for a while. You know, some people, doubt it. Leo Zagami, he's like, no, that'll never happen. But I don't know. I'm hearing people talking that are in the know around the White House that we may be seeing some arrests coming. The amount of information that's about to drop on the machines, those machines that they use to change the vote, they are about to come out, and the information on that is like irrefutable of how they've been used to change the vote. So since 2020, 2021, early 2021, 2020, and ever since, we've been revealing, that there's been fraud. And we're seeing it, spilling over into lots of elections still to this day. We only have to look to California, the most recent fraud, Texas fraud. It's everywhere. Now, I talk to people all over the world, and to people that are here in the United States, and their excuse or their line of reasoning of why they want to see Abbott win is because the other option, there's no one that's strong enough to win. I think that's crazy. I think that's crazy thinking, because there were some really good candidates that were running. Some of whom probably would, the first thing they would have done was arrest Greg Abbott, which needs to happen at some point. But if you Texans just keep electing criminals, it's going to be harder and harder for us to, get you guys to the point where you have free elections and fair elections. So it seems to be the same thing in California. I don't know, maybe Californians went to Texas, and that's why you guys are like, okay, let's just go with the cheating. All right. And we have so much evidence out there of why you should not do that. Now, I just did a show with Daniel Bonnier, and he's talking about the corruption, horrific corruption. We've had him on several shows, but he just won his case against the corruption. And they came after him for years, took away his land, beat him so that, he lost, he can't see in one eye, threw him in jail for months, just ruined his life. But he fought back, and just won his case against a system that is corrupt all the way down at the county level, all the way up to the top of the state government. The governor himself came out and said that Daniel Bonnier was a criminal. And then that was a green light, because we know that these criminals are at their top are supported by criminals at the bottom and all the way in between. So lawyers protecting lawyers, judges protecting lawyers, judges protecting judges. The system is insanely corrupt. So President Trump has been doing a good job of exposing that. But, you know, I guess it takes time. It takes time for people like the Texans that come in and say, we have to go with Greg Abbott because otherwise the Democrats are going to win. I'm like, okay, all right. So that's a good excuse. So let's look at, President Trump talking about this corruption. Yes, it's been years exposing it. But if we don't get on board with it, like we have been, like we've been pushing for it, like Daniel Bonnier, he was on several shows and we exposed the corruption and then they couldn't run and hide. So this is the way it works. We expose the corruption, we stay on it, we share it all over the place, and they don't have any place to hide because they can't lie anymore because we're exposing their lies. All right, so President Trump is doing that. We know that he's been doing that for quite some time, even though they came after President Trump on a massive scale. Just like Daniel Bonnier, he was able to stay in the fight, and now he's coming at them harder than ever.
Sort of a witch hunt, just a continuation of the witch hunt. The witch hunt that you should be talking about is they caught President Obama absolutely cold, Tulsi Gabbard. What they did to this country in 2016, starting in 2016, but going up to 2020 of the election. They tried to rig the election and they got caught. And there should be very severe consequences for that. You know, when we caught Hillary Clinton, I said, you know what? Let's not go too far here. It's the ex-wife of a president, and I thought it was sort of terrible. And I let her off the hook, and I'm very happy I did. But it's time to start after what they did to me, and whether it's right or wrong, it's time to go after people. Obama's been caught.
So you see how this works. He's kind of telling you there that, you know, he was kind of lenient on Hillary Clinton. He said he was happy about that, but because he was lenient on Hillary Clinton, that gave them the green light to go full bore on him. So this is why we have to nip it anywhere we see this corruption, anywhere we see cheating. We have to go after it. We have to go after it hard.
Directly. So people say, oh, you know, a group. It's not a group. It's Obama. His orders are on the paper. The papers are signed. The papers came right out of their office. They sent everything to be highly classified. Well, the highly classified's been released. And what they did in 2016 and in 2020 is very criminal. It's criminal at the highest level. If you look at those papers, they have them stone cold, and it was President Obama. It wasn't lots of people all over the place. It was them too. But the leader of the gang was President Obama, Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? And except for the fact that he gets shielded by the press for his entire life, that's the one look, he's guilty. It's not a question. You know, I like to say, let's give it time. It's there. He's guilty.
Now, Barack Obama is a creation of the CIA. His mommy, who's a white woman, and his daddy, I don't know. We don't really know who his dad. Well, there's a lot of speculation about his daddy. His daddy seems to be someone a very not the one they say is his daddy, but someone that is of very, very high rank, very, very in Indonesia, and it's like he's not really black either. So to say that we had our first black president, we had our first mixed race president, which was Obama. We need to start. I said that from the beginning. And even this black man he was like, he had this video and he was like singing about Obama. Obama's mama's a white woman, and he's singing this song, and I'm like, I was playing it all over the place, and still people are saying, and Brad Olson, who's been on my show, did the history behind Obama's mommy, and it goes all the way back to Hitler and Eva Braun. How about that? So, and she's like the great granddaughter. So wow, these Nazis just keep coming at us, right? So Nazis do what Nazis do. They cheat, they lie, they steal, and this is what we're exposing.
This was treason. This was every word you can think of. They tried to steal the election. They tried to obfuscate the election. They did things that nobody's ever even imagined, even in other countries.
And shifting gears now to the Justice Department.
All right. So, will justice be served on Obama? Obama's mama is a white woman. And Obama is treasonous. So, that's what people say. I don't know. Here on YouTube, we can't say, point blank some things. We have to like couch them in maybes, and this person said this and this person said that. I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't there where he was born. I don't know who his real daddy and his real mama is. All right. Maybe it wasn't even that CIA, because she's CIA. She was CIA. Maybe she wasn't his mommy. I don't know. So, it's a lot of this stuff is lies, misdirection. You can't really know what you're seeing anymore. So it's beyond reason. Speaking of beyond reason, this fire that's been going on in Boyle Heights in California. Now, when I was in the Navy, I had to pick a rating. Even though I was a Navy SEAL, I was a hardhead diver, then I was a Navy SEAL, but you still have to be something in the Navy. Right? You can't be, there is no, at the time, there is now, fortunately, your rating could be a Navy SEAL, but now they have a rating for Navy SEALs. God, that took so long to do that, because all the knuckleheads that had made it all the way to Master Chiefs, like, I made it through the system, and the system took care of me, but it wasn't good for the community because I had to go study to be a firefighter, ship fighting, and all that kind of crazy stuff. And I'm a Navy SEAL, jumping out of airplanes, shooting guns and blowing stuff up. Why do I have to dive in? Why do I have to learn how to be a firefighter on a ship? Yeah. So anyway, I learned to fight fires on shipboard, and going into engine fire. Woo! Oh my God, there's training for that. And so we went in, and we had all our gear on, and geez, guys, why don't you find that out before we're using all that stuff? But anyway, there's definitely ways to fight these fires, but California, fires just happen, and they burn, and they burn, and they burn, and they burn. Something's wrong with the firefighters in California, right? Something's definitely wrong. So a building doesn't burn for a whole friggin' week. What the hell? Fire them all, and let's get some real firefighters in there. And fire politicians while you're at it, because they're the ones that are, I guess, some kind of agenda going on with all these fires. Everybody's making money on the fires. So we got William from the Wild Horse Ranch is saying we could bring wild horses in, and just they'd eat all the flammable stuff, and we wouldn't have these fires, because where they graze, there's no fires. It's common sense. And then we have the wild horses out there. Everybody's taking pictures of them to see, oh, they're beautiful wild horses. They don't come out there to see the goats or the pigs or whatever they put out there to eat the foliage. And they don't do that. They don't even do that. They don't put anything out there. They don't clean the foliage. Why? Because it causes fires, and they make money off the fires, guys. Right? They don't care that it burns people's homes. They don't care that a factory that has medical supplies that supports the entire West Coast burns completely to the ground and everything in it. They don't care that a factory that has emergency food that's going to come to California on a major scale later this summer and into the fall and winter. Yes, El Nino on a probably a record-setting level is going to cause a lot of rain. Of course, in Nevada, where they have Hoover Dam, doesn't have much water behind it. It's going to, like I predicted, it's going to fill up, right? And we're going to see that. So, yes, Tabor, California's bad, right? So it is bad as it can get, all right? So, and it's going to stay that way because, they've convinced people that it's in their best interest to let cheating go on in their voting system. So this is going to continue unless the people really rise up and get this fixed. Because, I know how it is in California. The beaches are beautiful. The weather's perfect all year round. That's the way California lifestyle is. It's just surfing and, partying and getting some sun. And that's it. There's nothing else in between. So cheating what? Cheating what? I don't know about cheating. Somebody else got into office that is going to destroy us even more. I don't follow that shit. I don't care. So, all right, Californians, good luck out there because we're not going to help you. All right, you're going to have to help yourself. You're going to have to help yourself. Don't cry and want us to come help you. All of the conservatives are leaving California. They're leaving, and they're filling up states like mine. It used to be Democrat, now it's Republican. So, thank you, California. So, and when your whole everything's destroyed, which I think is coming next month, we'll see. I get some strong feelings that next month is big shaky time, right? Shaky and like big waves, big monster waves, right? Coming in, tsunami type. All right, so we'll see. Now, what we're seeing is like things can go from good to bad to good to bad again at the drop of a dime because consciousness is really having a definite effect on predictions. It's hard for me to predict these days accurately. Used to be, I was like, okay, we're going to have this many hurricanes and they're going to hit here, here, here. And last year, that didn't happen. This year, I don't see any hurricanes. I'm like, are there going to be some? Well, if they pop up, if I see them coming, I'll tell you. But I do feel very strongly that there will be shaky shape, right, this year. Because I saw it was going to be, I saw it last year, but when you're on a mountaintop and you're looking out over the sea of consciousness, you see there's valleys and another mountain. So I look at a mountaintop over across there and I see something like that's coming, and it could take a little while. So if you've ever been on Pacific Crest Trail or some of these trails, you go up and down, up and down, up and down. You'll see a peak in the distance. And you're like, I'd say maybe later today, and then 2 days later you get there finally. So it's hard to tell this stuff these days because consciousness is really affecting stuff, and that is a good thing because we can, as a group, if we work together, we can cause positive things to happen and avoid negative things from happening. But not when it's super, super strong coming in. So we'll see. So what about all that smoke? What about all that smoke? So now they're saying that by Wednesday, they'll be turning over the building. We'll have the fire out, by tomorrow, and then we're going to clean everything up, and we'll turn the building back over to the owners on Wednesday with nothing left in it. All the food will be perished. I guess that was the plan. So anyway, so whatever emergency is coming down the road and we need food, like an earthquake, not going to be there. Or medical supplies, not going to be there, right? All right. So what's in the air? questions about air quality from warehouse fire. Yeah, it doesn't look so good. And anytime there's burning, anytime anything burns, whether it's land, and they don't publish that. So they've done investigations, which are kept quiet, but there is massive death from fires. And I think people that have been watching my shows are talking about it now. So, because I've been talking about it, I've been getting some experts on it. It's like, it's real thing. It's not good. And they have actually done studies in California at one of the universities where they came up with, yeah, there's been a lot of deaths from fires. Wow, we didn't get that. Somebody had to research and find that and pull that out and then share it. So these are the things that we're up against. Authorities say they've cleared the most hazardous materials, ammonia and lithium ion batteries from the fire zone. Yes, lithium ion, if that's burning, that's super hazardous. That's like radiological stuff. So, and really, when trees and all that stuff burn, that's radiological as well. So a spokesperson for the LA Fire Department said foam insulation, wood pallets of food, and solar panels on top of the 500,000 square foot building continue to smolder. Materials include plastics, electronics, and even rotting meat are likely burning, which means the pollution particles emitted tend to be highly enriched with toxic organics, toxic metals that are above and beyond what is normal, right? Day-to-day air pollution would look like. And so she said, this person they're interviewing said, air quality indexes may capture the concentration of particulate matter in the air, but not necessarily the specific toxins in them. So I guess it's really difficult for California to put out fires and actually test what's in the smoke to see if it's toxic. So you're going to have to trust your own intuition and your own, what you feel. But if you're out, your kids are outside playing in the smoke, and you're walking around in the smoke on your walks or running, look out. Look out further on down the line. Probably going to be some problemos. All right. So speaking of California and fraud and deceptions and all that stuff, Jennifer Siebel Newsom, California Governor Gavin Newsom's wife, is currently being investigated by the federal government. So they're scrutinizing what they believe is connection to fraud, right? So of course Newsom screaming that it's Trump, Trump, Trump. He's coming after me, coming after us because we're talking bad about him every day. That doesn't work out for most people when they F around with Trump. Haven't you guys learned that yet? Well, I'm going to talk about that. There's a lot of people that talk shit about Trump and they're going bye-bye. One of those is Obama, but we haven't seen him go bye-bye yet. Bye-bye, baddie. I got a shirt that says bye-bye, baddie. You can get it on my website. It's a great shirt. A lot of you guys like it. So she is under investigation. She is not accused of any fraudulent activity, although she's done fraudulent activity. And that is why she's being investigated. But she hasn't been convicted or charged or anything yet. They're just checking it out. Yes. Just checking it out. So what are they checking out? What are they looking at? Donors, nonprofits, and public officials using the same model face renewed scrutiny as investigators review relationships, disclosures, and financial flows. All right, so I'll be back. All right, and I'm back. All right, what is the California Partners Project that she's involved in? It is a Sacramento-based organization focused on gender equity and the role of media and technology in shaping opportunities for women and children. Sounds good. Sounds good. But she's been making a lot of money. A lot of money. So she's making money through behested payments. And how do they work? These payments sit in a regulatory gap. They're like invisible. You can't see them because they're in this gap. Can't see this. Can't touch this. Dun, 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 dun. Can't touch this. They are not campaign donations. So they can't be regulated, can't be looked at, can't be, you got, how many campaign donations do you get? I didn't get any. I'm in a regulatory gap. Oh, okay. They are not personal gifts. They are not subject to caps, which means they could be very large, like millions, right? But they must be disclosed above 5,000. But that doesn't mean they can't be millions. You just have to say, well, I got millions, and they'll be like, okay, you're in a regulatory gap. That's okay. So the scale of donations. So she's probably made. They're looking at it now, somewhere around 3.6 million, somewhere around that amount, over the last 10 years. That doesn't sound like a lot to me, but if there is more, which sounds like it's going to be, then that will be very interesting because that will probably expose a lot of people. So once you set the precedent in one of these fraud cases, which we may be seeing with her and Gavin, then it's going to be dominoes for all the Democrats. Some know they're using these, and of course some Republicans. But it is. I'm coming in good now. Good, thanks. But it is what it is. So let's look at the future. The future. What does the future bring? It's going to be very interesting. It might not be as we have anticipated, but Elizabeth April, I think she does a really good job of talking about timelines. Now, timelines, as she's going to explain in good detail, are not set in stone, right? They used to be, like everybody was like looking back at December 21st, 2012, and they're like, it's going to be the end of the world. I was like, and I couldn't see past it for a long time. So I was very good at saying, we're going to have an attack here, we're going to have an attack there. And 2 months from now, there's going to be an attack here, there's going to be an attack there. So I was in that zone. I was feeling all that energy. I was hammering it. I was calling it. And people are like, I don't know how you do it, but just keep telling us. We don't. Yeah. So I was like, okay. And so what we're going to see, I believe, in the near future are some very, very prominent things that are going to happen. And some of this leads to these very evil people and creatures that live under the earth, right? The tunnel systems and stuff, and big cities that are, they don't walk around on the surface because we would be scared of them if they did. Not me. I wouldn't be scared of them. And maybe not a couple of you, but most of you would. All right. So believe me. Right? So we're going to see some big stuff happen over the next several months. One after another, they're going to try something. It might not work. I've been saying I think there's going to be another bioweapon attack. I think there's going to be major earthquakes, and I think there's going to be an alien invasion, right? That is fake. Now, let's see what Elizabeth says about this.
As well, that as a remote viewer or even as a psychic, there's no such thing as written in stone, especially these days, okay? And the reason why is because this is how reality works. Reality works based on a series of timelines. Every choice an individual makes sets us in motion in a different timeline. This is literally quantum mechanic, or I think it's called multiple world theory, but I don't really know the words behind what I understand this reality to be. And so now when we look at the collective future timeline and the future path of the collective, there are literally an infinite amount of different timelines and potential realities that could occur. Now, 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Now, she mentioned the word collective. right? This is super important because those of you that follow me, Nino, Scott, and some other really good people that are revealing information, and we're like, okay, let's pray for Nino. And so today he looked amazing, right? Prayer is very positive. It's very, it can shift maybe some attacks that he might have had etherically. Who knows? All right. That's what I was getting. But, it could be, health issues like he talks about. Because a lot of people just are not in this realm of consciousness and knowing that consciousness does affect reality, right? So, fortunately, Nino believes in the consciousness reality of prayer. And so that helped him tremendously. Because if you're not open to it and you discount it, it's probably not going to work as well, or if at all, right? Or if all. All right, so let's listen a little bit more. This is a consciousness movement that we're in right now, guys. So we can shift timelines. I've been part of shifting timelines. I helped shift the timeline of 2012 with remote viewers and remote influencers and prayer, right? So some of you, it's not remote influencing, it's prayer. Okay. Call it whatever you want, but it is very effective.
When I was looking at the collective path and the collective future, I would make a prediction at the beginning of the year for 3 years from now, and it would come true almost every single time.
It's that on one peak, looking across several consciousness peaks of what's coming, and you can see the stuff coming far out, right? So sometimes I see this stuff and it looks, like I said, I would look at a peak when I was in Pacific Crest Trail out in the distance. I'm like, I'll be there this afternoon. And then, 2 days later, I finally get there. It's like that with remote viewing and, seeing things into the future. You can see these things coming, but getting the time exact is not, it's not science anymore. It used to be, like I said, but our consciousness is really making a difference. Of course, there's very evil consciousness out there as well that's trying to influence these timelines, and that's where we need to get involved. So you guys have heard of, timeline wars. I've been involved in those in the Secret Space program. I have time traveled. And I time travel with my consciousness. It's quite easy. Everyone can do it. And probably a lot of you do it already, but you won't admit it.
Now, when I'm taking a look at the future, there are so many different probabilities that are all equally probable. So it gets really overwhelming and really even confusing as a remote viewer and even for psychics. So any psychic who claims to know the future is complete bullshit, because there is no such thing as one set in motion future. There's a series of probabilities, and based on where the collective consciousness is at, where our choices, mindset, and even programmability is at, is where
huge programmability, or you feel that that's never going to happen for you again. So there is that programmability. You might not be you're thinking that if that comes again, I'm not going to do that ever again. Well, they're not going to do it the same way again because you're smart about it now. So they're going to do it another way. All right. So this is the way it works. So you have to be flexible with your thinking. If you get rigid, you go bye-bye. All right. I've seen a lot of people over the years go bye-bye with rigid thinking. So, and I mean, literally bye-bye, dead. Right. So you have to be very flexible, like she's talking about, because there is nothing that's written in stone. If I make a prediction, it's a prediction of a future event, right? And it can shift, it can move, it can shift and move. It can be like, I can see it like coming, and then it gets pushed, right? It gets pushed out there. because we become aware of it, and then it gets fuzzy, and then it like shifts, right? That's the way these things work.
That next probability is going to take us at a collective level. Okay, so I'm just putting that out there. Today, I'm going to talk about some very likely and very probable situations that I've seen that could potentially occur in July, that are likely to occur, which is a little bit scary because we're going to get into them. So we've got two big events coming up in July. One is July 4th. It's the 250th anniversary.
All right. So when she says scary, it's, because people will be scared. Now for you, you should never be scared because that attracts. You should be observant. And if you feel yourself getting scared or fearful, you should let it flow through you, right? And focus on love. All right. So, but a lot of people are going to see stuff and they'll be like, if they come in with a fake alien invasion, I'm not going to believe that shouldn't be the first ones running, right? Screaming for their lives. So you have to you have to be able to see these things and imagine that if something crazy that you've never seen before happens, where you're literally seeing people getting blown up, literally, it's not fake. You're seeing people getting blown up, melted by directed energy weapons right in front of you. Imagine that, right? Because we've already seen this happening in our cities. All right. So this is already starting to happen. So if that were to happen to you, knowing that there's a possibility, it should not make you fearful. It's like, dang, I heard about people getting fried by direct energy. I'm getting the hell out of here. So you're moving, it happens to you. It's like you see everybody's cars bursting into flames in front of you, and your car is stuck in traffic. You're getting the hell out of the car and running for your life. You're not going to stay there. Most people will stay there and they'll get fried, right? We've seen it. We've seen it in Lahaina where all those cars were stacked up and everybody in those cars got dustified, right? Turned to ash. All right.
Of the United States of America. And it feels monumental. It feels very significant. It feels very eerie. Leading up to July 4th, we've had the movie Disclosure Day be released on top of thousands of now declassified UAP, UFO, sort of extraterrestrial alien documents. We've even had big programs like ESPN talk about the different alien species that are out there. It's pretty wild.
All right. So, Elizabeth April's getting great views. So highly recommend you guys follow her. She's pretty on point. I love her remote views. I'm kind of on the same level, but she is she just comes right out and says it. I love her, ability to come out, just talk about it. It's great. So we're going to be seeing something, multiple events, multiple events, right? Something. So you have to be aware of that. What could possibly be those multiple events? We know they use HAARP to create weather, to cause earthquakes. Will they use it again? We know they use directed energy weapons to burn cities and start fires on the top of buildings in LA. So we know that they're capable. We know what their capabilities are, right? And what would they do with those? Imagine that Obama gets arrested. What do you think? They're going to pull out everything, right? They're going to throw everything at us, all right? And a lot of you are like, I want to see arrest. Well, when you see arrest, you're going to start to see fake alien invasions. You're going to see cities burning. You're going to see earthquakes and tsunamis, and it's going to distract. Yeah, the Palisade fire, absolutely. 702, Jeff. So you're going to see more Palisade fires because California is completely corrupted. They can do pretty much whatever they want because they have people in political positions, in firefighting positions, in law enforcement positions that allow this to happen. So you guys in California are effed. You guys in California are effed. You have been for years. You just haven't gotten it, I guess. I don't know. If somebody was like, well, I've had my home, through weather warfare, get hurricaned, right? So I was like, normally I stayed and I pushed my consciousness and stopped them. I couldn't stay this one time to go pick up my wife from the airport. She's flying in late, and because the weather was so bad, she was coming in late. I was going to get her, go back to the house, but it got so bad they weren't letting people back into my neighborhood, so I was screwed. Up until that point, I was able to push those hurricanes, and there was never in any area that I lived in Florida got hurricaned, right? So this one was 100 miles off the coast, and it caused flooding that was like on the level of like a massive hurricane hit, caused all kinds of damage. So these guys have incredible potential, guys, right? And they can do incredible things. In Texas, remember last year where we had the flooding from that river? These guys are very effective at causing massive mayhem and destruction. And we're not done with them yet. All right, we haven't taken them down. We haven't had their arrest yet. Obama is a little pansy boy compared to the guys at the top. He's a nothing burger, but he will be the beginning, right? If he gets arrested. Maybe he won't. So maybe they're like, if we arrest him, then we're going to so they won't arrest him. I don't know. So you have to be aware that these things are coming. Was that bullshit? Right? I said it. I was telling everything was coming, everything that was going to happen. And it happened, right? Could we have worked together to stop it? Yeah, but we weren't smart enough yet. I say we, collective, enough of us awakened so that we can stop their bullshit, right? We're not stopping their bullshit. Look at the cheating going on in California. This being exposed, but is anything being done about it? Not yet, right? Not yet. So until things are starting to transpire where we start to take these people down, and I don't think we should go, well, we can deal with that. No, you can't, because you don't know the bigger picture. Yeah, there's homelessness. We've been dealing with homelessness. That's gonna continue in LA, and the fraud. Yeah, we got a lot of rich people in LA. We'll be able to handle all that fraud. Okay, and so will you be able to handle more Palisades fires that will come? So you guys are like, we'll do whatever. Your house is going to get burned, right? And you in it probably, and you won't have any more say. You could have gotten involved, but now you're not, because you're bye-bye, right? So this is happening and will happen on a grand scale. That's coming, guys. We're going to see a lot of bye-byes and not baddies. Us, right? Because we haven't, really stood up against them yet. I predict pain, right? So when there's a lot of pain, then people start saying bullshit. We're not going to put up with this pain anymore. So it's going to continue, and we're going to have more and more pain as people reject, getting involved, as people refuse to believe that some of these capabilities are out there. I got a buddy that was hanging out with Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Rogan, and he brought up 9/11, and both of them were like, looked at him like he had a penis growing out of his forehead. Like, you guys don't get this stuff. So those of us that are, in this community, in the truther community, we've been exposed to this stuff for a long time, but you still have people that reject it, and at levels where they should have been exposed to it to the point where they should know better, right? At this point. So, Sancho, 702, you got some intuition going on. All right. So, anyway, let's look at the fraud. Now, I'm going to have a great person on coming up that was at the fraud event. He was at the first fraud event, Mitch Wexler, right? So Mitch Wexler is about to expose everything. And Texas, right? Don't mess with Texas unless you're going to do property taxes. Then you can mess with us, right? Because they have incredible fraud in Texas for school bonds and all kind of crazy stuff. So it's out of control in Texas. Now, Mitch is right on the verge of destroying it in Texas. And there's a lot of people that have been letting it slide through, and the judicial and so forth, all the way to the top, guys. Everyone in between. So there could be a massive takedown that's coming in Texas for this bond fraud. And if it happens in Texas, which it looks like it's going to, because Mitch talked to some very, very high level people, and they're very much involved, and that's all the way to Trump's level now, right? So we could see the fraud being exposed in Texas. It goes down in Texas. Now, Mitch has he says, if we don't do this, the Titanic is sinking. If we don't plug those holes, the fraud all across the country will destroy everything. Everything will collapse because it's at that point. It can't go much higher. Now, a lot of people have lost their homes because of this fraud, not just in Texas, but across the country. And that's bullshit. And we're going to see more people lose their homes as this continues, all right? Because this property overvaluation and overtaxation is going to continue, all right? School district bond fraud and election fraud, they're all connected by software, and they're all doing the same, all of them. So you have to have people in positions like Gavin Newsom, you name the governor that's corrupt, which is, I don't know, almost all of them, but pretty close. And you look at everyone below them, all the way down to the city council level, where they decide the school bond, and they have one school bond after another school bond after another school bond, and they expire over time, and they keep going up. The money that's being made in them and the fraud that's being squeezed out of that, it's not going to the kids. They say, we're doing it for the kids. Bullshit. So Mitch is talking about how we could come up with a 3-year tax plan for each city, which will cover all this. Imagine having, a 3% tax in your city, and you don't have property tax anymore, right? And you do that over 3 years, and then you reevaluate. You could probably bring it down or do away with it completely. You could have other taxes that pay for your fire departments, which hopefully you don't have fraudulent firefighters like in California. And you could have good police force, constitutional sheriffs, just like we had on with Sheriff Mack a couple of days ago. We were talking about, constitutional sheriffs, and he's got a great new book out now, right? A Democrat Murder of America, and supposed to be Murder of America. I think that's the website. And or you can go look at my show that he did with him. The links are there. So I'm going to go over there. I guess he's got an Audible, supposedly supposed to be out today. So I'm going to go check that out. So he's an amazing guy. He knows so much. He is, and Tracy is telling me he's a good man. So I guess she wants me to pass that on. So he's a good man. Absolutely. He's a very good man. And he's got to be a good man because he's got like 5 children and 15 grandchildren. Jeez. It's like, what did you do on your off time other than, have babies? It's like, oh, geez. And raise grandkids. So he's able to come on shows and write books. So that he's done a great service to America and probably the whole world, because the whole world could look at that book and get a lot of great information from it. He was talking about JFK and Marilyn Monroe and all this fraud that's been going on. I was like, holy smokes, dude. You're not messing around. And Obama fraud. Yeah. So, there's a lot of us out here that are like, pumping this system to be taken down. All right, let me share a screen. This is what Mitch had in his last show. He shared the slides. I'm only going to show you this slide because he's going to come in and do a show with me. He lost his voice. He said it's like he felt a little something, and he got on a plane, and his voice just went whoop, gone on the plane. So there was a lot of people got attacked at that event. A lot of people. So here we are. 3 fronts, 1 fraud. 3 systems, 1 mechanism. Fraud by software equals fraud by intent. This is what's going on in all of our cities, every county, because they showed the fraud in every county. How many counties we have in America? It's like thousands, 3,000 or something crazy. Let me get up. Counties in America. Counties in the USA. US of A. List of counties. I just want the number, guys. Come on. What's the number? Give me the number. 3,244 counties and county equivalents. So every single county that had the voting machines, they could see the fraud in every single county. In 2020, it's not over yet. So property overvaluation and overtaxation, as you guys can see, school district bond fraud, and election fraud. So there's going to be another fraud fighter event in September. We'll put the information out. Let me see if I have it. I know I have it, but yes. So I'll put this in the links. Don't go look at it until I get my hotel reservations. So, it's gonna be sometime in September. So I'll put the information up soon after I make my reservations. And sorry to be a little cheesy, but it's like every time I put this out, I go to like, oh, okay, I put it out. Now I'm going to go over and do mine. And it's like, it was a great event, incredible information that was put out. Of course, I'm going to have a lot of these people on, and we're going to talk about it. Mitch is one of them. Once his voice is cleared up, but he wants to come on ASAP because he's going after this fraud. And there's a certain gentleman he's going to talk about in Tejas that is a baddie. And so he wants to put pressure on that. And we want that system to be taken down. Again, if there's enough of us that are pressurizing it, then we will have a timeline that will happen that we want. Right? So that timeline should be the fraud is exposed, and a lot of the baddies in Texas that have been pushing it get arrested, because this looks like it's going to happen. And if that happens, it's going to be dominoes in every county in the US of A. All right. 3,244, something like that. Pretty close. All right. So, wow, that's going to be great. And we might not sink in the Titanic this time, and have a new Federal Reserve. All right. So you guys see that Alec Greenspan just died? Of course, that happened at the Father's Day solar, solstice. So Father's Day is on solar solstice, and first day of summer, and so we got he passed away, and Clive Davis, who's basically that baddie that took all the stole money from all the so we'll talk. Oh my God, a little bit of he was 100 years old. That's right. And we'll see. I'm going to play a little clip about the gematria of that, and that's going to be very informative for you guys, because I know you guys like to know stuff, right? You like for stuff to be revealed.
Yeah, we do.
And that's going to happen. That's going to happen bigly. I will reveal some good stuff for you guys, as I always do. All right, let's go into it. Now, of course, some people have asked me, you kind of forget this guy's name. This is Zachary Hubbard. Zach. So Zach is the number games guy. He's been doing this for a long time. Of course, YouTube has taken down probably about 100 different channels that he's had over the years. It's pretty close. He's definitely got more channels taken down than I have. He's amazing. Keeps coming back. They stopped me from coming back. I don't know how he kept going, but he's still out there. He's got 54,000 subscribers. It's like me. I'd get 120, 250,000. Whoop, gone. See ya. Bye. Right, so, it's going to take me a long time to get that many back again. Yes, it's going to take a long time. All right, because I just got back on after being, taken down off of YouTube for several years. So, but it's coming. It's coming. You guys are sharing. You guys are subscribing. You're getting unsubscribed. You keep coming back and subscribing again. So good job. And then getting the notices and not getting the notices, because you have to redo that, because they keep shutting that down. And you can't find me anywhere unless it's like someone that's stolen my work. And it's like there's people out there they're taking my face and they're making it into something else. I'm like, it doesn't even look. You make me look older. Stop that. So it's so stupid. It's so ridiculous. All right, let's look at what Zach has to say. He crushes gematria. This is the Jesuit stuff, and we know from Leo Zagami the Jesuits run the world.
Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It happens every solstice. Yesterday, June 21st, the summer solstice for the Northern Hemisphere. So many bodies connected to Clive Davis over the years, the biggest of which was Whitney Houston, who died at 48 in the bathtub on the Vatican's birthday. And go figure that Clive Davis is now dead 48 days before Whitney Houston's birthday anniversary. We'll get to why it matters that she was born in 63, would have been 63 years old come this August 9th. And I'm actually going to start with Alan Greenspan, because we've recently been collaborating with the channel, The Architects of Humanity, and he's got his main guy, Mr. X, that comes on. And twice now, I've talked to them about the Federal Reserve, and last night got a little pushback on the Jesuits running the Federal Reserve. And again, the only reason you get any pushback on this information is because people just don't have enough information. They haven't done the homework that yours truly has. Again, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I don't think there's anybody walking this earth that's done better research, better homework, or more of it. And, just to make a long story short, Alan Greenspan, the 13th head of the Federal Reserve Chair, which has the 13-month cycle, a big number that has a lot to do with our currency. And, of course, Federal Reserve 143. Apply numerology, Federal Reserve 71, just like Alan Greenspan, just like the Society of Jesus, which is what Arturo Sosa is, the head of the Society of Jesus, which is the thing that runs all things. Again, we're speaking their language. We're on their calendar. And again, the average person doesn't know about any of this because they haven't done good enough homework.
All right. So you're not the average person from this day forward, right? And Zach is the man that reveals his stuff on everything. You may not. I don't agree with all of his stuff. He's a little Trump hater guy, but I still enjoy and benefit from his work. There is a lot of information that he shares that's very, very relevant. You start to see the pattern in things, start to see the numbers, and you can predict certain things that are coming up like he does. And he does this all the time for sports. He's like, if you're into sports and you're into betting, you should be following Zach. For me, I don't want to make money I want to get my money dirty. All right. So I'm not doing it. So, and I don't want the repercussions of having dirty money. So, but if you are into it, good for you. All right. So follow Zach. He'll give you great insights on using gematria, who's going to win in sports. And I did that many years ago. And I showed you guys who's going to win the Super Bowl. And, you know, it worked out just like I said, because I looked at not just the numbers, but I looked at other things that are out there too. Because I'm a big picture guy. Right? I look at everything. And bread and circuses. That's right. Jeff, you're putting out some good stuff, man. 702 Jeff, you're good. You're crushing it today, guy. All right. Thanks for being in the chat. All right. Janet, I'm listening but cooking. So just wanted to say hi. Federal Reserve and IRS, et cetera, it's got to go bye-bye. Right. So, right. We're going to see it all go bye-bye. Thank you, President Trump. And so, again, if you mess with the Trumpster, because he's a man of God, and he's on a mission from God, you're going to go bye-bye, right? And that's what we're seeing right now in Colombia. And so you guys might remember this. This has been a little while back. I was like, oh, you're gonna pay for that, bro. you're gonna go down. So Colombian president responds. This is back in January of last year. Says, I don't like to travel to the U.S. very much. It's a bit boring, said President Gustavo Petro on Sunday back in January of 2025. And he was talking about President Trump. And President Trump had just visited him. President Trump, you know how he visits somebody and he goes, he's great. We had a great conversation, all this stuff. He's basically telling you this guy's a shitbag and it's gonna blow up on him. So he wrote, you don't like our freedom. Okay, so he's talking about Trump. I don't shake hands with white slavers. I shake hands with the white libertarians, liberals, heirs of Lincoln. No, Lincoln was all right. So, and the black and white farm boys of the USA, whatever, dude. All right. So he goes on to say, you can try to carry out a coup with your economic strength and your arrogance, like they did with Allende. He added, I resisted torture and I resist you. All right. So he's going bye-bye. All right. So bye-bye, baddie. We love it when baddies go bye-bye, don't we? And he is going to go bye-bye. All right. Trump-backed political outsider wins Colombia election. Initial count shows. All right. So they got through the initial count shows. Did they have mail-in ballots? All right. So we know that Venezuela, was part of the illegal ballot machinery and all that stuff. And with Maduro being taken out and revealing on these guys, I'm wondering if, all of South America, which it seems to be doing, is dominoing, right? And I think that's coming. So right-wing candidate Alvaro de la Espriella has narrowly won Colombia's presidential election. An initial vote count shows, marking a dramatic shift in how the government will tackle the country's internal armed conflict and violence. So he was endorsed by Donald Trump, has pledged a military crackdown on illegal armed gangs and groups. Finally, drug trafficking and crime. So finally,